What's going on, guys? I am super excited to bring you today's video. As you saw by the title, I am resetting the NHL to 2010 and resimulating the entire decade. So this should be a fun one for sure. I gotta give a quick shout out to Snipe and Score. Could not make this video without him. If you guys haven't heard of him, he's an NHL YouTuber, makes awesome throwback rosters. He's made an 07 one, a 97 one, and now he's made a 2010, 2011 one. That's what we're using today. I'll link to his channel in the description. Definitely go and check him out, guys. But basically, I downloaded his 2010, 2011 throwback roster, made some adjustments to it, added some prospects, and tweaked some things to make it a bit better for a whole decade simulation. And honestly, guys, I'm just really excited to see what's going to happen. Also, too, before I forget, I should give a quick shout out to Bengal. He's a Madden franchise YouTuber, and I actually got this video idea from him after he did it on Madden. I thought, why not try and do it on NHL? And real quick, guys, this is one of the biggest videos I've ever made, so if you wouldn't mind leaving a thumbs up, it really helps me out. So, without further ado, guys, let's get into the rosters here. Just kind of show you what every team is looking like back in the 2010 season. It was really fun for me going through, so I figured I'd share it with you guys. Obviously, this roster is only available on the Series X, so I really feel bad if, you're on a different console. You got Ryan Getzlaf, Corey Perry there in their primes, 25 years old, looking to win another Stanley Cup with the Ducks. Teemu Selanne there, still 89 overall at 40 years old. Now, you guys might be looking at his overall and age and thinking there's no way, but honestly, he was still that good. The first season we're about to simulate, he had a point per game, I think, so we'll see if he does that in game. Lumir Snosky here, very good offensive defenseman. Bobby Ryan there when he was still in the Ducks, and still, a very good winger before he kind of had his decline. Saku Koivu there, of course, former captain of the Montreal Canadiens. Francois Beauchemin, I believe this is after Toronto traded him for Jake Gardiner, Joffrey Lupul. Jason Blake there, Cam Fowler, who I think this is a rookie season because, yeah, he got drafted 2010, the Taylor Hall draft, so Hall's also a rookie. Tyler Seguin, you guys will see them, I'm sure, shortly. George Parros, it's kind of funny to see, like, the enforcer. Goaltender-wise, you got Jonas Hiller there as a starter. Ray Emery backing him up. I should show you guys, too, with I think George Parros would be a good guy to show you. Not only did Snipe and Score go through and make all these guys, we actually gave them authentic appearances. Like, look at Parros here. He's got the stash, the long hair. Like, honestly, the attention to detail in these rosters is just amazing. That's why, like I said, couldn't have made this video without him. Definitely go and show him some love. Next year, you have the Arizona Coyotes, who will actually be the Phoenix Coyotes in our franchise mode. Shane Doan, the captain, still there. Ray Whitney here, not to be confused with Ryan Whitney, was a very solid top six winger. Keith Yandel here, still in his prime, 25. Radim Verbata was honestly a really good skilled winger for a long time in the NHL. Taylor Pyatt there, Stepniak. Martin Hansel's younger. Ed Jovanovski, still a decent defenseman. Derek Morris. Mikael Roosevelt, Eric Belanger. I think this Coyotes team made the playoffs, honestly, because, yeah, they had some decent depth. Kyle Turris here, 21 years old. This is before he got traded to the Senators, I think. Demanded trade. Ulrich and Larson. I'm not sure if this would be his rookie season or not, but obviously he's young. Speaking of Ryan Whitney, you got Paul Bissonnette, Biz Nasty, 25-76, medium bomb 6, 90 fighting skill there. Alright, Biz Nasty doesn't look too bad. In terms of goaltenders, Ilya Brizgalov is their starter, 87 overall. This is before he went to the Flyers, kind of fell off. So after the Coyotes here, you have the Boston Bruins. This, of course, is the year they won the Cup over the Canucks. 89 overall, Zdeno Chara, 88 Bergeron, Horton there, Cavalier, Krejci, Lucic, Mark Savard. He actually played like 20 games this year, then never played again due to concussion issues. So I believe him to have injuries turned off just so it's a lot easier to sim through. Let's see what would happen if he never actually got those concussions. How much longer does he play, and does he remain an elite forward even through his 30s? Mark Recchi there at 42 was still a very capable player. Seidenberg, Johnny Boychuk, Michael Ryder, Marchand there, only 22. High elite though, he's going to go up in rating. What is he, like a 90, 91 now? Again, rookie Tyler Seguin, 19 years old, even overall, medium league potential. Again, so cool, I think. Look at these old rosters. 92 overall, Tim Thomas, their starting goalie. I think as good as the Boston team was, they don't beat Canucks without Tim Thomas. He was literally a god in those playoffs. Tuukka Rask backing him up. Has to be one of the best backups in the league. That's why they really weren't too concerned when they lost Thomas. Buffalo Sabres here, I thought had a pretty cool team. I think their 07 or 08 team, though, was better when they won the President's Trophy. You got Ponville, Vanek, Derek Roy. Those guys kind of led this team. Brad Boyce, Tim Connolly, Drew Stafford, Jordan Leopold there. Tyler Myers is young, 20 years old, 81 overall. You got a pretty young Sekera as well. Tyler Ennis there is young. Rob Niedermeyer, so he's actually left the Ducks at this point. I believe his brother Scott's retired. Young Nathan Gerby, that's cool to see. Goaltending-wise, a 92 overall. Ryan Miller is their starting goalie, so we'll see whether or not he can carry them. Calgary Flames, Mika Kiprusoff, 90 overall as well. There was some very, very good goalies back in the early 2010s. Joe McGinley, captain of the Flames, still playing 89 overall. Legendary Flame, probably the best Flame of all time in my opinion. Alex Tongue, Brendan Morrison, Jay Bomeister there. Relatively young, 28. Giordano, it's crazy he's 27 10 years ago, and he's still going strong. He won a Norris, 2 or 3 years ago. Olli Jokinen, shout out to X-Tech. Rene Bourque there, Glenn Cross, Matt Stajan, Nicholas Headman there, Steos. I feel like this Flames team probably got carried mostly by Kiprusoff's play. They're pretty average looking. Carolina Hurricanes here. Eric Stahl leading that team, still only 26. Eric Cole, Joe Corvo, Tomu Ruutu, Pikkinen, Jokinen, Corey Stillman there. You got a rookie, Jeff Skinner. I believe he actually won the Calder this year. Brendan Sutter here is pretty young. Tim Gleason. So, I mean, the Carolina Hurricanes here don't look too bad. Brian Dumoulin, young, 2075. Goaltending-wise, 86 overall starter Cam Ward. Not too bad, still 26, so time to grow. Chicago Blackhawks here. So they, of course, are the defending Stanley Cup champions going into this first season. Patty Kane, 90 overall, franchise potential at 22. Jonathan Toews, Marian Hossa, Keith Seabrook, Cannonball Sharp. I mean, this team's insane. They just traded away Ladden Bufflin at this time. Dave Bolin there, still relatively young. Same with Brouwer, Bickle. I mean, Charleston's 23. This team was absolutely stacked. Nicoletti's a 19-year-old. Like, are you kidding me? Starting goaltender at the time, Corey Crawford, Marty Turco there, backing him up. Colorado Avalanche here. So they were a pretty bad team 10 years ago. Paul Stastny was there, though. Milan Hajduk, John Michael Lyles, Matt Duchene. I think this is the second year in the NHL because he was drafted in 2009. David Jones there. Ryan O'Reilly, of course, two-way player. Didn't really have his breakout quite yet, though. Eric Johnson, former first overall pick. Adam Foe still playing, 39 years old. So, yeah, this Avs team definitely could use some work. They got a young Tyson Barrie, though. Very good offensive defenseman. Goaltending-wise, Brian Elliott starting. Peter Budaj, back up for them. After the Colorado Avalanche, you have the Columbus Blue Jackets here. Rick National on the team hasn't left yet. I think 2 years after we start the sim is when he gets traded to the Rangers, so we'll see if that happens in the sim. Does Columbus hold on to him, trade him somewhere else? Antoine Vermette there. I remember I really liked watching him play. Just a really skilled player. A young Voracek there, of course, just returned to Columbus. Derek Brassard, Mark Methot there, Scotty Upshaw, Chris Russell, of course, has the shot blocking X factor. A pretty young Anton Strawman there. I mean, obviously, he went on to have a really good career. A young Ryan Johansson, 18 years old. This is also his rookie season. Young Cam Atkinson as well, 21 years old there. Obviously goes on to have a solid career with Columbus. Steve Mason starting for them, 22 years old at this point, 85 overall. We'll see whether or not Mason can actually keep going that Calder season he had only a couple years prior. Dallas Stars here, Brad Richards. 1 year away from becoming the #1 paid free agent ever. As in the summer of 2011, Brad Richards signed the max player contract with the New York Rangers. No player's done that since, so we'll see what happens here with the sim. Ribeiro, another really good skilled player, was fun to watch. Louis Eriksson, of course, involved in the trade for Sagan. Imagine like Dallas Boston actually make a trade, Eriksson for Sagan, like that'd be crazy. Brendan Morrow there, still a good player. A young Jamie Benn. Jamie Langenbrunner, a guy you kind of forget about, was really good with the Devils. Goligoski there, still pretty young. Trevor Daley. Stefan Robidas there was a pretty solid defenseman before Lou Lamoriello put him on Robidas Island with the Leafs. Looking at the rest of the Stars here. John Klingberg, good young player. We'll see how his career develops in the sim. Lennon there was their starter. Red Wings here. Honestly, I love this team. Pavel Datsyuk, 92. Lidstrom, 91 at 40. Honestly, he was still that good. And he plays, I think, 2 more years here from when we start the sim. Zetterberg's a 90. Rafalski, Franzen, Cronwall, Todd Bertuzzi, of course. Tyler Bertuzzi's uncle, Brad Stewart. Yuri Hudler, Holmstrom, Cleary, Helm. Like I said, I absolutely love this team. You got a pretty young Abdelkader there. Nyquist, only 21. Goaltending-wise, Howard was our starter at this point. Mrazek, though, on the team, 1875. We'll see how he develops with the Red Wings. I think they're going to win at least 1 cup in this sim because hopefully, Datsyuk will stay, not go to Russia. Lidstrom won't retire as early. Edmonton Oilers here. So just one Taylor Hall. Hemsky, sick player. Ryan Whitney, I mentioned him before. We'll see how the Spin Chiclet boys do. Sean Horkoff, Sam Gagne there. Taylor Hall. Should do pretty well, I think. Tom Gilbert, Jordan Eberle. How long will he last on the team? Same with Hall. Can they actually, rebuild around these guys that failed in real life? Linus Omark, he was nasty in terms of like dangles, but didn't really make it in NHL. In terms of young guys, they got Jeff Petrie there. Goaltending-wise, Heavy Bullen's their starters. Relatively young Devin Dubnyk. After that, you have the Florida Panthers. Stefan Weiss, their best player. Samsonov, David Booth. Kulikov. This Florida team definitely looking a little bit rough. Dadonov before he went to Russia, then returned to Florida. So in this, there's no option to go to the KHL. He'll actually stay with Florida, so we'll see how he does there unless they trade him. Good Branson, I think, just recently drafted as well. Their starting goalie here, Thomas Vokoun, 87. He was a really solid starting goalie back in the day, often overlooked. Young Anze Kopitar, Drew Doughty. Can they lead the Kings to a cup as they do in real life? They actually lead them to 2. Dustin Brown, Dustin Penner, Mr. Game 7, Williams there. Ryan Smith still in the NHL. Jared Stoll, Jesus, young Jack Johnson. So that's before the Jeff Carter trade. Wayne Simmons still pretty young. Martinez. You got Matt Green there. Braden Shen's 19. Tyler Toffoli's 18. Goalie-wise, Jonathan Quick's an 88. Bernier backing him up. This Kings team does look like, they could be cup contenders in a couple years, just like in real life. Minnesota Wild here. Martin Havlat, another sick player to watch back in the day. Miku Koivu. Brent Burns hasn't been traded to the Sharks yet. Andrew Burnett, Pierre-Marc Bouchard, Cullen, Zidlicki. You got John Madden here, Nick Schultz, Kyle Brodziak, Cal Clutterbuck, still pretty young, he's only 23. Jared Spurgeon there. I think Snipe had his potential high top 4. I made him a medium league, because I think Jared Spurgeon honestly is that good. You also got a young Marco Scandella. Goaltending-wise, Nicholas Backstrom's their starter, not to be confused with the Capitals' first-line center. Jose Theodore backing him up, young Darcy Kemper. So, again, really curious to see what's going to happen with some of these players that were like stars back in the day. Thomas Mechanic there, leading the Montreal Canadiens, James Wisniewski, Brian Gionta, Camilleri. I remember this Canadiens team, Scott Gomez, who I think they traded Ryan McDonough for. Andre Kostitsyn, a young PK Subban, has elite potential. Can he actually, win multiple Norrises? Or is his career going to start to decline like 7 years into the sim like it's done in real life? A young Brendan Gallagher there as well. Goaltending-wise, 90 overall, Carey Price, their starter. Low franchise potential. I think that's fair. Price sometimes is the best goalie in the world. Other times, he's shaky. Shea Weber, speaking of Montreal, still on the Preds. Same with Ryan Suter. Will they be able to keep those guys? Will Philadelphia come in, offer sheet Weber? Mike Fisher there, Legwan, Radulov. So Radulov, kind of like Dadonov, can't escape to the KHL. Is actually going to stay with the Preds, at least for a couple years. Steve Sullivan there, Sergei Kostitsyn, maybe he'll go to Montreal. Patrick Hornqvist, pretty young still. Joel Ward, Colin Wilson, Cody Franzen there. Roman Josi, 2075, medium elite. Ryan Ellis, Matthias Ekholm. They've got 3 very good young defensemen on the come up. Goalie-wise, 90 overall Rene, only 28. So very good to see what the Predators are going to do with those young defensemen, because if they keep Weber and Suter, maybe they trade Roman Josi. That'd be kind of nuts. Devils here, Kovalchuk. Again, another guy who can't escape to the KHL. They can't terminate his contract illegally or whatever. Zach Parise, will he stay with the New Jersey Devils or will he leave? Patrick Eliot, obviously a loyal New Jersey Devil. Travis Zajac. Peter Sikora, I loved him on the Mighty Ducks. Brian Rolston there. Andy Green, only 28. David Clarkson. Will he sign a big fat contract with the Leafs? And of course, in net, none other than Martin Brodeur, still a 90 overall at 38. How long is he going to play for? I'm very curious to see when some of these legends start to retire. Tavares there, leading the Islanders. Does he, leave for the Maple Leafs once he's a UFA? That'll be curious to see. Molson, Okposo, Parento, Grabner. You got a younger Franz Nielsen there. Andrew McDonald, kind of like Russell. Shot blocking machine. A young Josh Bailey. I feel like Bailey probably could have medium top 6. I'm going to change that. You got a young Travis Hamonic here as well. Matt Martin, of course, left for a bit, came back. Calvin DeHaan in goal for the Islanders. They got Nabokov here. So this was an interesting one, guys. Nabokov signed with the Red Wings during this season, but then they had to put him on waivers. Islanders picked him up. So, technically during the first year sim, halfway through, the Islanders would get Nabokov. I figured, whatever, we'll just have him start on their team, as they have Rick DiPietro here. $4.5 million for the next 11 years as a 77. I'm really curious to see if they'll buy him out. Will someone take that contract? That would be insane. New York Rangers here, Marian Gaborik, another guy I loved watching as a kid. Brandon Dubinsky, Ryan Callahan, Girardi. This Rangers team was pretty cool. Alexander Frolov, Wojtek Wolski, Mark Stahl, pretty young still. Ruslan Fedotenko, you got Brian Boyle there, Derek Stepan, and Anisimov. Michael Del Zotto, Sean Avery. And speaking of the Scott Gomez trade, guys, I just realized I forgot to add Ryan McDonough to this roster. But hopefully you understand, there's just so many players to keep track of. A young Chris Kreider, of course, for them in goal, 92. Henrik Lundqvist, the king. I feel like he'll probably play the entire 10 years. Ottawa Centers here, Jason Spezza, Daniel Alfredson. No longer have, the All-Star, though, and Danny Heatley. Sergei Gonchar there, McCallick. Foligno hasn't gone to Columbus yet. Eric Carlson. I gave medium franchise. I think there was a 5-year span in the 2010s where he was, without a doubt, the best defense in the NHL. So you guys want to argue with me, you can on that, but I think it's pretty fair. Look at the rest of this team here. Mark Stone's young, 1875. Will he be traded? Craig Anderson there starting, 86 overall at 29. After that, you have the Philadelphia Flyers. Chris Pronger, still in the NHL. Danny Briere, Mike Richards, Jeff Carter. Philadelphia hasn't torn it down yet, trading those 2 guys away, which I think they actually do the season after this one. I believe summer 2011, they trade Richards to the Kings, Carter to the Blue Jackets. You got Scott Hartnell there, pretty young Claude Giroux, Kimmo Timonen, Matt Carl, Christopher Stieg, Coburn, JVR there before he goes to the Leafs and returns. Nikolai Zherdev, he was another guy, just like all skill, tons of fun to watch. In terms of goaltending here, a young Bobrovsky, who they decided to go with Brizgalov instead. Turns out that probably wasn't the right move. Pittsburgh Penguins, Crosby, 94 at 23, high franchise. Dude's insane. Obviously, just won a cup, a year ago, right? The 2009 Cup, they beat the Red Wings. Malkin there, also world-class player, 91, franchise 24. Letang, Kunitz, Kovalev was still playing. Jordan Stahl, Matt Cook, Pascal Dupuis, James Neal, Martin Orpik. This Penguins team, honestly, looking through, was pretty stacked. Marc-Andre Fleury there, still their starting goalie, 90 overall at 26. San Jose Sharks here, Anthony Niemi was their starter. Looking at the Sharks, you got Joe Thornton's a 92, an absolute playmaker. Patty Marleau, 88. Will those guys actually stay together, potentially win a cup with the Sharks? Dan Boyle, Danny Heatley, like I said. Mr. 1507, the All-Star himself. Joe Pavelski here, 26. Will he take over captaincy of this team like he does in real life? Ryan Clough, Mark-Edward Vlasic, Lone Couture still young, 21. Setaguchi there. Jason Demers is still young. Again, it's just so cool, looking at these old rosters. Now, the Seattle Kraken here, guys, obviously didn't exist back in 2010, so what I've done is made them a team of just, random bad players. Same goes for the Vegas Golden Knights, and basically those two teams are going to be placeholder teams, one in the West, one in the East, and we're going to pretend that it's still a 30-team league, and whatever team plays them that night basically gets a free win. If you lose, then you gave up a free win, but because you can't change the amount of teams in franchise, it's kind of the only way to do it. St. Louis Blues here, Andy McDonald's their best player. So St. Louis is a bit of a rough spot. David Backes, though, 26.85, obviously on the come-up. Steen, a younger TJ Oshie, Pietrangelo there, Chris Stewart, David Perron, Kevin Shattenkirk's young. I think in 2010 they would have just recently traded Eric Johnson for him. Patrick Berglund there, still pretty young, 22. Kolyakovo, of course, now at TSN. Look at the rest of the team. You got Ryan Reeves there, should have 95 fighting. He's got 90 fighting, good enough. He can get better. Tarasenko's young, 1975. He's going to become a great player for them. Halak's their starter. After that, you have the Tampa Bay Lightning. Their goaltenders aren't the best. You got a 41-year-old Dwayne Rollison, Mike Smith backing him up, but their team is pretty stacked still. 91 St. Louis, a 20-year-old 90 overall Steven Stamkos. Cavier was still on the team. I love how you got the new superstar in Stamkos, still playing with the old superstars. Reminds me of when Crosby was playing with Lemieux. You got Simone Gagne there, another guy I really liked as a kid. Teddy Purcell, Ryan Malone. Victor Hedman's only 19, going to get much better. Pavel Kabina, Steve Downey there. Eric Brewer, Sean Bergheim, Matthias Ohlund. I think for young players, they got Tyler Johnson, kind of like Evgeny Nabokov on the Islanders. During this season, they actually signed Tyler Johnson as an undrafted free agent. So I figured I would just let them have him 3 months early. Maple Leafs here, Dion Phaneuf backing as the captain. Phil Kessel, Joffrey Lupul, Nikolai Kulemin there, MacArthur Gaboski. That was a nasty second line for the Leafs for a couple seasons. Luke Shen, will he get traded for JVR? Tyler Bozak. You got Carl Gunnarsson there, a young Kadri. Hopefully the Leafs don't trade him. They'll go on to be top 5 in scoring with a new team. Goaltending-wise at this point, James Reimer, J.S. Jaguar, Vancouver Canucks. So this is the team that wins the West, loses to Boston in the Stanley Cup final. We all remember seeing that on the news. The Twins, Daniel and Henrik Sedin, 92 and 90 respectively. Ryan Kessler there is an 88. Edler, Burrows, Samuelson, Ehrhoff, Mason Raymond. I loved watching him play too, just so fast. Sucks his career was cut short due to injuries. Hamuse, Bieksa, Higgins. This team, they got Manny Malhotra, the face-off expert. They got some grit there. So stacked. Of course, in goal, 93, Roberto Luongo. Good luck. And then they got Corey Schneider backing him up. Kind of crazy. The two teams with the best young backups. Corey Schneider for the Canucks, and then Tuukka Rask for Boston. Both made it to the Stanley Cup final. Vegas Golden Knights here, like I said, just like Seattle. A team of nobodies. I'm really hoping Vegas and Seattle don't mess up the sim too much. I should mention too, I'm going to be controlling one of them during the sim, so I'll make sure they never draft a good player, but the other team can draft good players. So if they can somehow rebuild a team of literally nothing into a contender, honestly, fair play to them. Washington Capitals up next, just like Crosby over here, 94 overall, high franchise. Backstrom's an 88. Mike Green, crazy good offensive defenseman. Alexander Semin there. You got Weidman, Brooks Lake, John Carlson's young, 21. Jason Arnott before he retired. This team, Carl Alzer's still pretty young, 23. I mean, solid team throughout. Goaltending-wise, I got a ton of goalie options. Michael Neuvirth, Semyon Varlamov, Holtby, Grubauer. They're all 22 and under. What is Washington going to do here with the goalies? In real life, of course, they go with Holtby. He's got the best potential here, so that makes sense. What are they going to trade the rest of the guys for? And finally here, the Winnipeg Jets currently have Andre Pavlich, Chris Mason as their goalies. Also, as I should mention, the 2010-2011 season was the last year the Atlanta Thrashers existed, so just for fun, we're going to sub out the Jets for the Thrashers, and we'll see what would have happened if they never moved to Winnipeg. Now, in terms of the skaters here, you got Dustin Byfuglien, again, recently acquired from Chicago, same with Andrew Ladd, Antropov there, Enstrom, Little, pretty young Blake Wheeler at 24, Ron Hainsey was there, rookie Evander Kane, Dvorak, Oduya. Again, this team has some building blocks. Zach Bogosian there, relatively young. Alex Burmistrov, he went to the KHL. He's got low top 6. Will he have a better career in the sim? Let's find out. So, again, guys, I'm very excited to see what's going to happen here. I should mention, too, I've added a bunch of prospects on top of the one Snipe and Score already made. Unfortunately, though, you can't add enough prospects to fill out every draft class, as there's a max amount of created players in the NHL games. But I feel like we're still able to include a good amount of real-life prospects from the 2011, 2012, 2013, and 2014 drafts. Now, I don't want to spoil that for you guys now. We'll wait till we're actually at each of those drafts during the sim. And next year, guys, I want to show you what each team's jersey is going to look like for this simulation, as not only does Snipe and Score make all the players for 2010, but he also made sure that every team's jersey is actually accurate to the 2010 season. So, Anaheim Ducks here, you can see home and away. You can also see what their best player game face looks like. After that, you have the Atlanta Thrashers, like I said, taking over for the Jets. I think he did a pretty good job with it, honestly, considering, what there is to work with within the EA, customization options. Boston Bruins there. I feel like Charlie definitely did a pretty good job on. He's huge there. Buffalo Sabres, you can see definitely a different looking jersey. Home away. Pretty creative, too, with the alternate there. Going with the belt tie, of course, when they had the Buffalo cursive. Calgary Flames here. You got Joe McGinley. Again, it's really cool, I think, just how much detail really is in this roster. It's a shame that not everyone can play it because you have to be on Series X. I mean, look at this. He even made the Team Lidstrom and Team Stahl from the All-Star game. Chicago Blackhawks here. You're, of course, looking at Patrick Kane. After that, you have the Colorado Avalanche. I mean, look at the goatee on Hayduk. He got it perfect. Columbus Blue Jackets here. Rick Nash, I think he actually did a really good job on as well. Dallas Stars, you got the old just star with the D there for the jersey, then the star on the way. I think he did a good job. Red Wings here. Red Wing jersey at least will be a pretty simple one, home and away. Edmonton Orders here. You got the home, the away, and the alternate. Florida Panthers are up next. I see Thomas Vokun's their best player. It'd be cool if the goalie actually popped up, if that's the team's best player was. LA Kings, back when they rocked more of the purple opposed to just the black and the white. Honestly, I like the purple. I feel like it made the jersey stand out more than just simple black and white. Minnesota Wild here. That red jersey is definitely interesting. I like the alternate one, the green, the beige. Montreal Canadiens. Thomas Buchanan, I like. He's also got the goatee on. So again, a lot of attention to detail. Nashville Predators here. The old jerseys there. Definitely better than that one, all yellow jersey they have. The Devils here. Do they have red and green? Back 2010? On the alternate they did. Okay. New York Islanders here. I feel like the Islanders jerseys have stayed pretty much the same the entire decade. New York Rangers up next. You got Marian Gaborik there rocking the C, which don't pay attention to. I think it just shows the C for every created jersey. Ottawa Centers here. Back when they had the 3D center. Now they're back to 2D. I do like the 2D better. Flyers here. You got a huge Chris Pronger there. And like I mentioned before, you have the Phoenix Coyotes here, not the Arizona Coyotes. Luckily, we actually have the real logo, so that's really cool to see. I feel like nailed those jerseys, honestly. And then, again, pretty creative. Get the alternate going. Pittsburgh Penguins there. Those are the jerseys that they won Stanley Cup with. The first one, I should say, of the 3. The light blue, I think that was the Winter Classic. That's kind of cool. San Jose Sharks there. Joe Thornton's game face actually looks pretty solid. I like the all-black alternates for them. St. Louis Blues there, home, away, and alternate. Next year, you got the Tampa Bay Lightning. Martin St. Louis rocking the home, the away, and the alternate there. Again, this just looks so good. The Maple Leafs, the old Maple Leaf logo. Phil Kessel there. Feel like Phil Kessel's never that skinny, but fair enough. Vancouver Canucks, these jerseys with the Sedins rocking them. Absolute classic there. The alternate with just the stick. Washington Capitals, Obi with the jersey tuck, the tinted visor. That is just so classic. And that is it for the jerseys. So we're going to get into the simulation now, guys. I know I had to show you all the rosters, all the jerseys and stuff, but really excited to see what's going to happen. And next year, guys, we're going to show you the division realignment. For this, we're assuming the NHL never expands, Atlanta never moves to Winnipeg, but the NHL decides to go with the 4 divisions opposed to 6. So in the Pacific here, it's the old Pacific plus the 3 Canadian teams. Pretty simple, and I feel like you keep most of the rivalries. The Central Division here is the old Central plus Colorado and Minnesota. Basically, we just cut the Northwest in half. Honestly, I kind of like this too. You can kind of rekindle the old Red Wings Avalanche rivalry. Minnesota fits perfectly in the Central, so makes a lot of sense. We got Seattle there in the Central, so that way there's 15 teams on the West and 15 teams on the East. Now on the Eastern side, the Atlantic is essentially the old Northeast plus the 2 Florida teams. I think that makes sense. And then the Metro here is the old Atlantic plus half of the Southeast in Atlantic, Carolina, and Washington. So really the divisions stayed together for the most part, aside from the 2 that I had to cut in half to obviously put on each side. Also, 2 guys should point out in the West, the Vancouver Canucks, highest rated team, tied with Detroit, both 89s. The Edmonton Orders there, the lowest, 81 again. Ignore Seattle. Chicago, those in 88, so they're a contender. In the East here, I think Boston's the highest at 89. Pittsburgh, though, is close, 88. And the Islanders, not only lowest in the East, but lowest in the NHL at 79. And the Florida Panthers are also really low, they're 81. But in the real life 2010-2011 season, the Oilers got last. Unfortunately, there's no way to move around draft picks in franchise, so we're just going to go with classic draft pick ownership where every single team gets all 7 picks. It was the only way to do it because the other way, authentic, would just not be fair at all. Arizona would have like 3 first-round picks this year. So we're finally in franchise now, but I've got one more thing to show you guys before we start the sim. Back in 2010-2011, Jaromir Jagr was playing in the KHL. The next season, he came to the NHL. So I figured, let's just do it a year early because Jagr's going to end up here anyways. Right now, he's a free agent. Very curious to see which team will win the Jagr sweepstakes. He's 38 years old, but he ends up playing like 7 more years in the NHL once he comes back. So we'll see who picks him up. And check this out, guys. Who else would sign Jagr other than the current back-to-back Cup champs in the Tampa Bay Lightning? Back in 2010, obviously they only had that 1 Stanley Cup in 2004. Now you guys can also see some of the trade values there. I was looking through, there's some cool ones. For instance, Vegas Golden Knights, Seattle. It's so bare. Washington Capitals, Ovechkin. Basically at the max there. Same goes for Crosby there with the Penguins. Malkin's very high. I think Philadelphia, really interesting. So you got Mike Richards and Jeff Carter. 10 and 12 year contracts respectively. Obviously you can't have that in the game anymore. The Islanders, I feel so bad for. Look at the DiPietro contract. 11 mil for the next 11 years. It got worse. Will they buy him out now? I don't know. I don't think there's any way around that, though. The Devils have Kovalchuk, 7.4 for the next 15, and he still has a good amount of value. Carey Price in the Montreal Canadiens surprisingly doesn't have a lot of value. That's honestly kind of a weird one. Yet Lundqvist on the Rangers does, even though he's only 2 overall higher, older, bigger contract. That's a strange one. My Detroit Red Wings, of course, got the 3 legends at the top. Datsuk there, tons of value. Zetterberg, Lidstrom. Hopefully Datsuk's more than just, a draft, move-up trade. Hopefully, like I said, he stays with the team. Stanley Cup champs, Boston Bruins there. You can see their trade values. I don't think I showed Toronto. I know half you guys watching Toronto fans. Right there's a look at Toronto. So, finally, guys, we're going to start the simulation. Next time I'm talking to you will be playoff time. We'll see who won the Stanley Cup. Let's get started. Now, I totally forgot about the trade deadline, guys. As you can see here, Phoenix is loading up. They added Joe Corvo and Eric Cole from the Hurricanes for a first and second round pick. In 2023, though, which will actually be the 2012 draft, we know isn't the best draft. Yakupov went first overall. Yakupov is not in this. Seems like a wasted creative player spot when there's only so limited. To remember, guys, basically just add or minus 11 years. So, we started this in 2021. It's really like starting in 2010. The 2022 Cup winner will really be like the 2011 Cup winner. Easy way to remember it. But yeah, we'll see if that first round pick pays out or not for the Hurricanes. And another big trade, look at this one. Edmonton gets 2 first round picks. Will be a 2011 and a 2012 first rounder for Ryan Whitney. He's going to the other Alberta team in Calgary. I wonder if you'd like that or not. As well as Vandermeer there. Okay, so Edmonton, the king of first round picks for 3 years. They get a couple more. We'll see what happens with those 2. And so we're at the end of the 2010-2011 season here, guys. Looking at the new Central, St. Louis finishes first with 98. Really surprised. I thought it would have been the Red Wings or the Blackhawks. Red Wings don't even make the playoffs. 91 points. Are you kidding me? Avalanche do, though. Real life, they got second last that season. That's crazy. Bruins there, 107. They're dominant. Sabres, Canadiens, Lightning, Maple Leafs make it in. So that year that they finished, what was it? 2011? They didn't make the playoffs. They weren't dead last either. They actually make it in. Golden Knights, of course, they don't really count. Senators, 75. Devils there, very dominant, 114. Potentially the last year they have Parise, Rangers, Penguins. In the Pacific here, you got Sharks, Canucks, Flames, Kings, Coyotes. Coyotes, last wildcard spot with 103 points. That really sucked for them after those big trades they hadn't made it in. So I just want to take a quick look at the overall league standings. You can see Devils there win the President's Trophy with 114 points. And you had, wow. You had 12 teams there with over 100. So doesn't look like the league was quite as balanced as it is now. And last place, we're not counting Seattle or Vegas, was the Hurricanes with 73. That is very interesting. AHL doesn't really matter for this. I don't think I pointed it out, but the AHL is like dry. It's empty. It's just a bunch of like random 60 guys, kind of like Seattle and Vegas teams. We'll see here who wins the Art Ross Trophy. Crosby with 102. Okay, so lower scoring here. I had the scoring set to medium. Is actually back, a decade ago. Scoring wasn't quite as high. This is actually pretty realistic. Daniel Sedin 96, Parise 90, Kovalchuk, Patty Marleau, Ovechkin still at 47 goals. Crosby at 56 though. Iginla, Kopitar, Malkin. Okay, so like very cool to see. I'm glad it's relatively realistic. Lidstrom almost a point per game at 41, and the Red Wings can't make the playoffs for him. Are you kidding me? He's gone. He's done. Phaneuf at 66. Ryan Whitney looking like a Norris Trophy candidate there on the Calgary Flames. So rookie skaters, I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, so it messes up. It thinks every created player is a rookie skater. That's fine. We just won't count the Calder for the first year. Goaltending-wise, Brodeur, 38 years old. He had 48 wins, .921 and 2.36. Are you kidding me? Now, the draft results are in here, guys. Vegas picking first overall. Again, that's a team we're not controlling. That kind of sucks. If Seattle won first overall, I could like purposely make them not choose a good player. So maybe I'll try and get first overall to do that. Minnesota, though, jumps up from 12 to 2. We're picking third. You might see there the Blackhawks back-to-back Cup champs. They won it in 2010. That was their first of 3 Cups. And they win it again in 2011. We'll take a look at the playoff tree here, see how it all broke down. So the Blackhawks beat the Avs in 7, swept the Kings, Sharks in 6, before beating the Lightning in 6. Yager almost won another. The Devils, they made it to the conference final out in the East. The Bruins, I just realized, swept by the Lightning first round opposed to winning it all. And the Canucks out in the first round versus the Flames. So neither teams are supposed to be there really showed up in the playoffs. Looking at the awards next here, already mentioned Blackhawks Cup champs, Devils President's Trophy winners, individual Crosby, Art Ross, and Hart. Lidstrom, James Norris, just another one for his resume. Daniel Sedin, Lady Bing. Crosby wins the Calder that he never got because Ovi won it. Corey Crawford, Conn Smythe. Antoniemi, though, won the Vezina. Okay, I thought his stats looked pretty similar to Bergeur's there when I was looking at goalies. He also got the William Jennings Trophy. This random guy in Seattle, Bill Masterton. Leafs coach Jack Adams. Was that Paul Maurice back at this time? I can't remember, but the fact they made the playoffs, I mean, yeah, I would definitely give it to him. Datsuk Selke, that's sick. Crosby, Ted Lindsay, and Crosby, Maurice Richard. Yeah, Crosby just cleaned up this year. Now, this is actually kind of cool, guys. In the AHL, Ryan Ellis won Outstanding Rookie, as well as Best Defenseman. I think he's supposed to be playing for the Spits still, but whatever. And then Ben Bishop, MVP of the Calder Cup playoffs. We'll see if he really, becomes that elite goalie he does in real life. Look at this, guys. This is the retired players screen. No one's on it. That's awesome, because obviously all the older creative players, which sucked to only have them for one season, they're all coming back for at least one more year. That's pretty cool. And so now at the draft here, guys, again, this is the 2011 draft class. Let's see who we got. Kucherov, franchise potential, guaranteed first overall. So Kucherov, I went with franchise because I feel like he kind of is a franchise player. He just took longer to develop, so his rating's a bit lower. Huberdeau there. Those two guys made up. Nugent Hopkins, Landeskog, Couturier, Dougie Hamilton, Scheifele, Zibanejad, Johnny Gaudreau. I think there's actually some undrafted free agents too that would be in this draft, but just no one took him in real life. John Gibson there, of course, very good goalie. I think we just keep going down here. They're still up. There we go, Andre Palat. And further down here, projected second-round players, Yanni Gourde, Jonathan Marchessault, both guaranteed medium top 6 gems. Again, these two were in the 2011 draft, but didn't get drafted. I think, they're going to get drafted here. So I'll sim the first couple rounds, and we'll take a look and see who went where. Alright, guys, so I just simmed the first 2 rounds of the draft. You might notice we picked first and third. This is because after trading for the Vegas first overall pick, I had to give up like a couple extra firsts 5 years from now where there won't be any real-life prospects that were, put into the game. I noticed that Minnesota took Huberdeau with the second pick. They're supposed to take Kucherov, so I then used Rakos and trade him to Vegas to get the third pick. I think I had to add like a third rounder. Wasn't much. So I took both like computer-generated guys. That way, the real teams are getting the real-life prospects. Nuge there actually drops to 4. And kind of like real life, Kucherov drops to 5 with franchise potential. Our scouts have him number 1. I'm not sure what Minnesota, Carolina were looking at. But Ottawa there gets a great player, Nikita Kucherov. Edmonton gets Gabe Landeskog at number 6. A lot of people think they should have taken him first overall instead of Nuge. Hamilton at 7, the Atlanta Thrashers. Couturier goes to Dallas. Zibanejad to the Islanders. Obviously ends up on the Rangers after getting drafted by the Sens. That's very interesting. Scheifele on Nashville. Johnny Gaudreau with the Ducks. Made-up guy. John Gibson to the Leafs. So this is really cool, as the pick that the Ducks used to take John Gibson was the Leafs pick that they traded the Ducks for, I think, Tyler Biggs. So the Leafs kind of making up on that trade. Andre Palat there. late first round pick by the Kings. Great pick. I mean, pretty good value, but not as good as value as the Tampa Bay Lightning get him in the 7th round. And then the last pick in the 1st round, guys, the Leafs loading up on goalies also take Jordan Binnington there. Like, are you kidding me? Now, round number 2, there's just a couple guys, the 2 undrafted players. The first one to go was Yanni Gourde, went for the Dallas Stars. So Dallas is having an incredible draft. And then Jonathan Marchessault there goes to the Vegas Golden Knights. That's honestly kind of cool. Obviously, he ends up there. That's where he has the best season of his career, so very, very cool. But I think Dallas getting Couturier and Yanni Gourde, as well as the Leafs getting the 2 goalies, were probably the 2 teams that won this draft, along with Ottawa getting Kucherov at number 5. And so around the 2011 free agency here, guys, we'll see who the top players available. Brad Richards isn't here, so he must have re-signed with the Dallas Stars. We'll take a look how much. Nikolai Chernev wants 8.7. Andrew Burnett. Yager wants almost 8. Simone Gagne, Tim Connolly, Kovalev. Honestly, Timo Solani there, leaving the Ducks. That's crazy. Tyler Bozak leaving the Leafs. There's really no superstars in this first year's free agent class, which is good to see. All the teams kept their superstars, which they should. They have so much cap space. Our team there has 80 million, which is just a joke. I'll take a look at goalies here. Brian Elliott up to an 88. Must have had a great year. Brizgalov there, 88. I think he was 87, so only a bit of a jump. Smith, Turco, Jaguar, Theodore. Okay, so definitely will be some movement. Very curious to see kind of where Yager goes, Solani, but like I said, really no superstars here, which is good to see. Most of the teams kept them. I'm sure as the years go on, the contracts get bigger, more superstars will be available in free agency. Alright guys, let's now the start of the 2011-2012 season. You can see Brad Richards there, new contract with the Dallas Stars, paying him 9.3, which is actually more than he signed for in real life, but the salary cap max is higher, so that makes sense. Red Wings here, my favorite team, got Timo Solani. I can't believe it. 41 years old. They got a 2-year, $7.4 million deal. Not bad there for Solani. Looking at the Devils here, they keep Parise. Cost them $10.5 million. So a lot of money. Hopefully, he plays well for them. Looking at the Islanders here, I was curious if DiPietro got bought out, and he did not. I kind of feel bad, but buried, it's like $10 million against the cap. So basically, they're below the cap team. We'll see if they can pull something off. It'd be cool. Rangers here. Yager returns to New York. How cool is that? He played like 3 or 4 years for the Rangers before going to the KHL. He's now back on New York. Very, very cool. I want to show you guys actually the Blackhawks lines here after they won the Cup. Obviously, they added some guys, but you can see some growth too from players. Kane's up to a 94. Like, how ridiculous is that? They signed Mikhail Grabovski there. Now, their defense is gross. Keith Seabrook, Jarmel St. Campbell, Timonen Leddy. Like, are you kidding me? Now, 2011-2012 season, the Kings won that Stanley Cup. Looking at their team, they still got Jack Johnson with Doughty there, Martinez. Offensively, Ryan Smith still there with Kopitar. Simmons in 86 now. Mr. Game 7. This looks like a good team. Jonathan Bernier, Jonathan Quick, good goalie duo. Will they win the Stanley Cup? Let's find out. So we're at the end of the 2011-2012 season, guys. Unfortunately, there was no blockbuster trade. The deadline, I had no pop-up. As you can see here, Blackhawks win the division. Red Wings back in the playoffs with the Avalanche and the Blues. Canadians, Bruins, Senators, and Lightning there in the Atlantic. Capitals, Flyers, Penguins, Devils in the Metro. Canucks, Sharks, Coyotes, and Flames in the Pacific. So, good to see Seattle, Vegas still, not playing well. Mike Santorelli there. Seattle signed him, the assistant GM, put up 59.82. We'll take a look here at the standings to see who won the President's Trophy. We'll see who won the Art Ross Trophy, all that good stuff. So, Blackhawks take home the Presidents after winning the Stanley Cup. Not too bad. And, wow, again, tons of teams putting up 100 plus, like 12 teams there with 100 plus points. And last place, not including us in Vegas, are the Nashville Predators with 57 points. Luckily for them, though, they have a bunch of stud young defensemen coming up. Entire league, Crosby again, it's his league, 101 points. Martin St. Louis, 97, Stammer, 95, so they're the duo. And really, they were an awesome duo in real life. I wish St. Louis would have stayed on Tampa for a bit longer. Kane there, Malkin, Ovechkin. I'm surprised Crosby's outscoring Ovechkin. Ovi's shot there, I mean, it's pretty much perfect, 96 and 98. Crosby's shot is basically perfect, though, so that's how he's outscoring Ovi, I guess. Now, he's a playmaker, whereas Ovechkin's a sniper. I guess this doesn't really matter. Lidstrom at 90 points as a 41-year-old D-man. I love this man. Nick Backstrom, Zach Parise had a pretty good year. So, we'll look at defensemen. We can actually have rookie skaters. Curious to see who's going to win the Calder. I think Nick Lidstrom's winning a Norris Trophy in what was his real life last season in NHL, 2011-2012. Keith there, Carlson at 70. He's up to an 89 now at 21. Letang, he's a 90 at 24. Ryan Whitney thriving on the Flames. Victor Headman there, he's up to an 86 already. Sergei Gonchar, Dan Boyle, Tobias Enstrom. Let's see, rookie skaters. This made-up guy on Vegas, we traded to them. 61 points, that's annoying. He's going to win the Calder over Huberdeau. Tarasenko at 53 with him. So that's cool. I guess St. Louis held Tarasenko out of the NHL their first season. Nuge had 50. Nyquist 45 with the Wings. Marchessault there. Landeskog, another made-up guy on our team actually. Tyler Johnson. Looking at the goalie stats here. Mike Smith, 44 wins with the Coyotes. Didn't Mike Smith actually go to Arizona from Tampa Bay as well? I just checked, guys, and he did. 10-11 he was on Tampa Bay. 11-12 he was on the Coyotes. How cool is that when, like, you know, real life's mimicked in the sim? And he had the most wins in the league. Now, save percentage-wise, Tuukka Rask, I guess Halak, .927 to 2.2. Looks like he's probably taking on the Vezina. And check this out, guys. The 2012 draft results are in. We're picking first overall. Toronto second. They're jumping up from 9. Vegas, they're third. I see Atlanta has the 16th pick via New York. I never saw the New York-Atlanta trade pop up, so I'm kind of annoyed. Look at that, guys. I was shocked when I saw it. The Avalanche are your 2012 Stanley Cup winners. I mean, it's a pretty big come up for them. In real life, they didn't last or whatever, but they missed the playoffs in the 2011-2012 season. So very, very impressed, you know, to see them taking home the cup. We'll look at their road there, who they had to go through. So in the first round, they beat Detroit 4-2. Detroit with Solani, Norris winner probably in Lidstrom. That's a very impressive first round win. I'm not just saying that as a Red Wings fan. Also, too, guys, I just noticed the Kings didn't even make the playoffs the year they're supposed to win the Cup. They then beat the Blackhawks in 6, defending Cup champs. Flames in 7, and then they beat the Ottawa Centers in 7 in the Stanley Cup Final. That's crazy. So the Ottawa Centers made the Stanley Cup Final the year after drafting Kucherov. I think like lightning, that might be on the start of a dynasty here. And now the awards here, guys, obviously you already know all the team awards. Individual here, Crosby back-to-back Art Ross trophies. Patty Kane, though, got the Hart Trophy. Nick Lidstrom, back-to-back James Norris trophies. Marty St. Louis, Lady Byng. Tarasenko gets the Calder, very cool. Milan Hajduk, Conn Smythe for the Avs. Carey Price gets his first Vezina in this sim. Love it. Corey Crawford, William Jennings trophy. This guy in Vegas, Bill Masterton. Ottawa coach Jack Adams. So, like, they weren't even really supposed to be there. Made the Cup final. Bergeron gets his first of many Selkies. Kane, Ted Lindsay. Wow. Phil Kessel and Maurice Richard. I saw Crosby had more goals than Ovi. I didn't realize Kessel had the most goals. I gotta take a look at this now. And look at this, guys. Phil Kessel had 54 goals, one more than Crosby, even though he had 19 less points. And look at the AHL player awards here, guys. Basically, I'm just looking to see if any of our prospects are doing well. Palat here got the most points, as well as MVP. He also got best rookie, which makes sense, seeing as he won the MVP there. Brain Holtby, best goalie in the AHL. Very cool. And Tyler Toffoli, MVP of the Calder Cup playoffs. All right. And so we now have retired players here. Are they all going to make it through 2 seasons? Some players did retire this year. They're just hard to find. Sean Thornton there with the Bruins. Craig Rivet with the Blue Jackets. Thomas Holmstrom here with the Red Wings. That sucks to see. Mark Recchi with the Kings. He's 44, so, I mean, he had a long career. Jamal Myers there with the Wild. Anyone else really of note? I don't think so. So, even, 2 years in, only losing 4 or 5 guys, that's pretty good. And so we're now at the 2012 draft here, guys. We're going to take a look at the draft class. This was obviously known for being a pretty poor draft. You got a made-up guy first and second overall. Morgan Riley third. Philip Forsberg fourth. Thomas Hertl fifth. Okay, so those are 3 of, like, the actual, players we put in. Vasilevsky there at 10. Franchise goalie. Probably the best player from this draft. Connor Hellebuck as well was in this draft too. I'm trying to remember if there was another goalie. I don't think so. There was, right? Freddie Anderson also in this draft. I think this really was like the draft of goalies. I believe it's just those 3 players in Forsberg, Riley, and Hertl. But goalie-wise, yeah, you also got Matt Murray, Elvis Merzlikins, Korpisalo, Linus Ullmark. I mean, there's some very good goalies to go here. And the fact you can get Ullmark, who I think's got medium starter, as late as, end of the second round, pretty good value. So, we'll see where all these guys go. So I just sent through the first rounds of the draft, guys. I took this made-up guy first overall. The Leafs took the other one second. He's at 83 medium elite. Our guy's only at 79. Gustafsson was the first-ranked prospect, but our scouts had Commissary being a gem. Can't trust the scouts, I guess. Morgan Riley goes to Vegas. I mean, come on. He was right there for the Leafs to take. Maybe if I took Gustafsson, the Leafs would have taken him. How cool would that have been? Philip Forsberg, though, taken by Nashville at 4. There we go. Thomas Hertl's a Dallas Star. 76, high top 6. Should mention Riley, 78, medium elite. Sam Forsberg. Now, Tampa fans look away. Vasilevsky is a Florida Panther. Goes to the bitter rival. Connor Hellebuck there, a New York Islander. I'm trying to remember. I think Freddie Anderson went in the first round as well. He did to the Montreal Canadiens. So, Anaheim ended up with 2 good goalies, Gibson, Anderson. They chose Gibson. Will Montreal choose Price over Anderson and trade him away to the Leafs? We'll see. Matt Murray there at the Minnesota Wild, 68 medium starter. Lincoln's here, 63 medium starter, goes the Avalanche. Yeah, right here, Corby Salo, 67 high fringe to Detroit, and Linus Ullmark, 65 high fringe to San Jose Sharks. I think that's it for like the actual players. This Heat League guy goes to Atlanta. That's kind of cool. So we'll get to free agency now and see who's out there. So we're at the free agency period here, guys. John Carlson's available, 89 overall. He better be at RFA. He is an RFA. Okay, so the game's working that way. He's 23. You gotta assume the Capitals will come to an agreement. He wants $11 million though, because you gotta remember there's a lot more money now for these teams than they had in real life at the time. David Krejci, is he a UFA? He is, leaving Boston. Wow. Martin Hansel there wants a lot of money as well. Alex Semin, a free agent. Alex Hemsky, Patrick Sharp, more. Dustin Penner, Chris Kunitz, Shane Doan leaves the Coyotes. Are you kidding me? Matt Carle, Joe Corval, Niskin, Rafalski. Red Wings lose Rafalski and Cronwall and Samuelson. Come on. Some good defensemen available, goaltending-wise. Carey Price, RFA. You got to figure Montreal will find a way to sign him. Pekka Rinne, he's actually gone down in rating. Was a 90, down 87. Dudek's an 84 now. Schneider, 85. 1 year left to grow. He might get to like an 87. Real life, he did get to a 90, but it's tough because goalies, you know, kind of reach their ceiling later in real life, where in the game they only have till 26. Some backups other than that available. So definitely a bigger free agency class. Again, we'll sim to the start next season. We'll see where the biggest free agents went. We'll take a look at the Avalanche roster, and then we'll start the 2012-2013 sim. So on the start of the 2012-2013 season, guys, I want to show you where some of the bigger name free agents went. Patrick Sharp here signed with the LA Kings. We'll see if he can kind of push them over the hump and get them back in the playoffs. Montreal Canadiens were able to keep Carey Price. Should show you guys that. I kind of figured they would. He's making $12 million the next 7 years. We'll see if, you know, Price can win a cup there with the Montreal Canadiens. Now after that, looking at the New York Islanders, they're not done with just Connor Hellebuck. They also signed Corey Schneider there, 26.86, so they're really just done with DiPietro. Rangers here, Lundqvist, 89. Surprised his value is that low. They signed somebody, Alexander Simmons, actually got the most value on their team. After that, I noticed Pittsburgh Penguins here signed Alex Hemsky, also Crosby and Malkin, both have max trade value. Now, Crosby, younger, higher potential, less value, but it's because he's got 1 year left, he's not extended. Imagine if Sidney Crosby goes to free agency in like this alternate timeline. If you guys have seen, you know, all the new Marvel stuff, Spider-Man, all that. This is basically like a multiverse of the past decade. Also, when I was looking through the teams, I signed Oshie's now on the Canucks. I don't remember seeing him in free agency, so not sure if he got traded there or this wasn't a pop-up. David Krejci's on Vegas, who obviously shouldn't exist. John Carlson stayed with Washington. He's now at 90 already at 23 years old, which is pretty crazy. And I should show you guys too, our team, again, I'm not controlling it. Our assistant GM here signed Pekka Rinne. So I feel like Vegas, Seattle probably still going to be, you know, the worst teams. We'll take a look here at the Avalanche Stanley Cup winning team. So they got O'Reilly on the first line with 87 faceoffs. Matt Duchene, 91. His faceoffs got better than O'Reilly's, even though O'Reilly has like the faceoff ability there. And Hayduk, that's kind of a nasty first line. Jones, Stastny, Darren Helm they pick up. Zach Boychuk, everyone, you know, followed by him on Twitter. Kopechki, Condra, okay. Defensively, John Michael Lyles, Eric Johnson, Tyson Barrie, Ryan Wilson, Lashlow Schmid, Brian Elliott was 88 starter for them. Good team, but like, I don't know. I expect a little bit better, I think. Now the Blackhawks are who actually won, you know, the 2013 Stanley Cup. They've added Grabowski, Ray Whitney, Dave Bullen's up to an 83, Frolik there, Sean Avery's on their team. I think the defense is the same, it's still stacked. And the team that got last place this year, Colorado actually got second last in the 2012-2013 season, and they're currently defending Stanley Cup champs. Florida got last in real life. Kulikov's an 85. Weiss and Dadonov, Sergei Samsonov, David Booth. We'll see what happens. I think they signed Jason Arnott as well. Like I said, guys, we'll sim, you know, till the trade deadline, then get started with the playoffs. So just sim past the trade deadline, guys, and again, there was no blockbuster trade alert, so I decided to just actually look at the trade feed. I should have done that last year too, I apologize. Steve Ott there goes to Phoenix. Freddie Anderson to the Avalanche. So yeah, Montreal drafted him. They're like, we have Carey Price. They moved on, and they got a couple picks back there, plus Peter Budaj. Pittsburgh gets Jeff Petrie from Edmonton, so just like real life, Edmonton moves on from him. Was it too early? We'll find out. Brad Boyes, the Senators from Buffalo. Ray Emery there goes to Atlanta. Tobias Enstrom to the Ducks. It's a pretty big trade. Sergei Kostitsyn to the Lightning. Andrew Cogliano and Theo Peckham to the Rangers from Edmonton. Okay. And Fedor Tun there went to the Islanders. So overall, like a decent trade deadline, but yeah, definitely no blockbuster trades here. And so we're at the end of the season here, guys. Blackhawks won our division and the Western Conference. We'll see if they can win that 2013 Cup like they did in real life. The Avalanche do not finish second last in NHL. They actually finished second in the division. So they're doing a lot better here in the sim than they did, in the actual 2013 season. Blues and Red Wings make it in there. I should look at the other Western Division first. Ducks, Canucks, Kings, and Sharks. Oilers there have not made the playoffs yet. True to real life. In the East here, Lightning, Canadian, Maple Leafs make it in. I'm surprised Maple Leafs, bounced back so hard here. Senators, they made it to the Stanley Cup final. This year they missed the playoffs. Capitals, Penguins, Rangers, Islanders, and Devils there. On the other side, Thrash is doing pretty bad. I think, as they were doing pretty bad. They didn't make the playoffs for a while after they moved to Winnipeg. And look at the entire league, guys. The Blackhawks do win the President's Trophy there. So we'll see if they can complete that and get the cup. A lot of still 100-plus point teams. Minnesota and Atlanta finished below the Vegas Golden Knights. I showed you guys, Vegas, Seattle had literally nothing to work with, so that's not a good look for those teams. We'll take a look here. Lee Stempniak was on our team as well. Put up 60. Mason Raymond, we signed 2. I said I really liked watching him on Vancouver. Entire league, it's Stamkos now, not Crosby, with 109. St. Louis 109. Those guys tearing it up together. Ovi 101 with 61 goals. Might be winning the Richard Richard. Crosby also 101. Kovalchuk 101. Kessel, Parise, Backstrom, Perry. Very, very cool. And it is Ovechkin with 61. Stammer's up to a 94 now. Again, if it wasn't for injury problems early in his career, he would have had, even better stats. I think a lot of people forget, or maybe you were too young, but Stamkos, his first few years in the league, he was just so, so good. Erik Karlsson might be taking the Norris Trophy here from Lidstrom, but Lidstrom's a plus 29. Victor Hedman, 75 points at 22. He's 89 overall. So he grew a little bit faster here in this sim, but that's all right. Erik Karlsson's at 93 right now at 22. Lidstrom's still at 88 at 42. Duncan Keith, Phaneuf, all right. Letang, Mike Green, Yandel, PK Subban. Rookie skaters here. The guy on the Leafs, the created guy, of course, he's going to be the guy that wins the Calder. Our guy's second. Oh, wow. So the guys that got drafted 2012, actually, Philip Forsberg there did play, but he only had 30 points with the Preds. Same with Riley, 25 points. Interesting. And then we'll take a look at goalies here. Corey Crawford, 45 wins. And save percentage-wise, the best starters. Corey Schneider on the Islanders, .922 and a 2.59. And the playoffs just completed, guys. Check this out. The LA Kings win the Stanley Cup a year later than they did in real life. And they also win the Calder Cup. So the Kings there with the clean sweep. Very, very impressive. I'll take a look at retired players, the awards, all that stuff. We're picking first overall again, which is good, though, because we're picking first overall. We can take a created guy. The real guy can go, second. And Dallas, the biggest jump you can make from 12 to 2. Carolina 3. Wow, Vegas isn't picking until 6. Minnesota 4, Atlanta 5. So this would actually be like the 2013 draft. You're thinking Nathan McKinnon, Alexander Barkov. There's going to be some very good players available here. So take a look at that playoff tree, see who the Kings had to beat to get their first Stanley Cup in this sim. So we got them beating the Canucks in 7, sweep the Sharks, beat the Blackhawks in 7, so the real Stanley Cup winners, and then they beat the Penguins there in 5. Penguins beat the Rangers there in 5, Devils in 5, Lightning in 7 before falling to the Kings. We'll take a look at the awards next here. We already know all the team awards. Individual, Stamkos, Art Ross, and the Hart. Hedman got the James Norris a little bit earlier than he did in real life. St. Louis Lady Banks, so far it's a clean sweep for the Lightning. Gustafson, that Leafs guy, Calder, I kind of figured. Jonathan Quick, Conn Smythe. Jimmy Howard won the Vezina. I saw he didn't have the highest save percentage, but he had the highest goals against average, but I think it's because Detroit, such a good team in front of them. Devin Dubnyk, William M. Jennings Trophy. Wow, okay. This random guy in Vegas, Bill Masterton. Leafs coach, Jack Adams. Datsuk gets a Selke again, very cool. Stammer, Ted Lindsay. And Ovi there, of course, won the Reese Richard. And this is a tough retirement year, guys. A lot of real players retiring. You got Willie Mitchell there. Alex Kovalev, 40 years old. He was on the Bruins. Jovanovski there on the Flames. Tom Kostopoulos, Brent Sopel. Jarko Ruutu there. Nick Lidstrom finally calls it quits at 43. So he played one more year than he did in real life. And he could have kept going. Like I pointed out before, he was still an 89. He had 74 points this past season. Roman Hamrlik there was on the Red Wings retires. Mike Rupp. A lot of people probably know of him from the Netflix documentary. Jason Arnott there. Rob Niedermeyer. Todd Marchand. Let's see. Mike Greer. Daniel Alfredson calls it quits with the Sens. Never makes it to the Red Wings. Pronger calls it quits as well at 39. Anyone else kind of big names here? Mike Knuble. And that's it. So Yeah, some legends really. Pronger, Alfredson, Lidstrom. Some Hall of Famers retired this season. And so we're at the 2013 draft now, guys. Here's a look at the draft class. McKinnon there, first overall, medium franchise. That was a tough one because people were literally arguing him being the best player in the world a couple years ago, better than McDavid. Now everyone's saying he's 3 behind Matthews. His rookie year was good. His sophomore year was a slump. I think he's probably franchise, though. Barkov, number 2 there. Jake Gensel, number 3. He was actually a third-round pick, but one of the better players on this draft class. Seth Jones there. Shea Theodore. I think you could argue Shea Theodore was the best defenseman to come from this class. I don't think there's any other skaters. In terms of goalies, there should be goalies in like every draft class because you can actually create more goalies than players. So Ilya Sorokin here. I think he's a medium elite. Saros there. Tristan Jarry. Cal Peterson. I thought Shesterkin was in the same class as Sorokin. Or you know what it is? Sorokin got drafted in 2014. But he was actually eligible to be drafted in 2013, but no one did. So he's going to get drafted here for sure. Very, very cool to see how that's going to work out. So I'm not going to take a real guy. I'll take this Bellamy dude first overall. And then I think, probably Dallas will take McKinnon second. They've already gotten Couturier and Thomas Hertl, so Dallas is loading up. So I just simmed through the first 2 rounds, guys. I totally messed up. For some reason, I thought I took the Bellamy guy. So what I'm going to do, since I accidentally took McKinnon, is trade him to Dallas for Barkov, then trade Barkov to Carolina for the Bellamy dude. But obviously, McKinnon 1, Barkov 2 there. Barkov's a high elite. Gensel goes 4 to Minnesota. Seth Jones 5 to Atlanta. Shea Theodore 7 there to the Coyotes. After that, I think you're probably looking at a goalie for some real-life prospects. And it's going to be Sorokin. And he went to the Montreal Canadiens. I don't know what they're doing drafting goalies with Carey Price. Saros there goes to the Ducks, 73 medium elite. It's pretty good rating for a goalie out of the draft, especially in this game. Now, it's tough to make their ratings. I'm pretty sure he's like a 65, but because he's so young, depending on how he sims, during those junior years, essentially, you don't know how he's going to grow. Tristan Jarry, 70 medium starter there, taken by the Vegas Golden Knights. And Cal Peterson, 67 medium starter, taken by the Preds. Also, guys, if you're curious, check out McKinnon's stats out of the draft. 83 overall, franchise potential. He tore up the queue there with Halifax. He's a sniper. I think I messed up. I should have made him a playmaker, but yeah, he's going to be a very good player here for the Dallas Stars. And throughout the free agency period here, guys, will Sidney Crosby be a free agent? No. Okay, so Pittsburgh must have retained him, unless they trade his rights or something at the draft, which you'd think that would pop up. Tarasenko wants 11.5. He's 87 at 22. He's an RFA. Rich Peverley got up to an 87. That's really impressive. He's more of a third-line guy usually. Derek Roy there. Joffrey Lupul wants 10 mil. Mike Ribeiro. Ryan Whitney there. He's looking for a payday. He's up to an 86. He's played pretty well for the Calgary Flames. Devin Setaguchi, I guess our GM or assistant GM likes Brooks Like. Sergei Kostitsyn there. Andy McDonald. Roman Josi, 85 overall right now at 23. Also an RFA. Nathan Horton there is available. Mark-Edward Vlasic. Some pretty good players. Blake Wheeler, 2016 RFA. He's not. Only an 85. So maybe next time I do this, I make Wheeler a high elite opposed to medium so he grows faster. Quick here. A free agent. The Kings win the Cup. Quick says see ya. Howard as well with the Wings. Bobrovsky there. Free agent at 25. 87 medium elite. Pavelich, Lettinen, Braden Holtby's an RFA. Tim Thomas is down to 84 now, so he dropped quite a bit since he was like a 90 or 92. Marty Brodeur, Heavy Bullen, both 41, holding on. I'm guessing probably both retire this season. And I just checked here, guys. Crosby said, screw 8.7, I want to get paid. Signed just under $12 million there for the next 7 years, 8 years. Till the end of this video, that's for sure. So at the start of the 13-14 season now, guys, as you can see here, Jonathan Quick signs with the Devils, leaves the defending Stanley Cup champion LA Kings. The Islanders here, I just wanted to show you guys, Corey Schneider up to a 90 for them. He was like, what, 85, 1 year left to grow. He must have had a good season. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying must have, I can check it. Yeah, .922, 2.59. Some nice stats for him. The Rangers here, this is crazy. Brodeur signs the Rangers, leaves the Devils. I mean, he did leave the Devils real life, went to the Blues, so I feel like it's not that unrealistic. And then Phoenix here gets Bobrovsky, so kind of funny because Brizgalov left their team for Philly, and Bobrovsky leaves Philly for the Coyotes. Also, too, guys, wanted to show you Mark-Edward Vlasic here signed with the Buffalo Sabres, no longer a San Jose Shark. And then you got the Edmonton Oilers here getting Devin Setaguchi. Big payday for him, $9.4 million. I saw Gagne up to an 86 with high top 9 potential, so that's pretty good growth based on his potential there. Everly's an 84, Hall's up to a 90 now. LA Kings here, I noticed, made a pretty big signing. They got Ryan Whitney, so he's joining the defending Stanley Cup champions. He's just going to pass that puck around. We'll see how he does. And 2, in regards to Tarasenko, I kind of figured he'd stay in St. Louis, and that is the case. Signed almost $12 million there. And if you guys are curious, right here's a look at the Kings Stanley Cup winning lineup. Sharp, Kopitar, Simmons first line. Williams, Little, Palatz on that team. Ponikarovsky, Dinas Zubris. This Antilla guy, I think he's made up. Yeah, 10th pick, 2023. Dustin Brown's on the 4th line with Braden Shen, Chimera. Nasty 4th line. Ryan Whitney's on the top here with Doughty. You got Matt Green, Jack Johnson, Martinez, Francois Beauchemin. Obviously, they lost Quick, but they got Bernier and Martin Jones there in net, so really not that bad. What's kind of crazy is actually they won the Cup in 2012 and 2014 in real life. In the sim, they just won it in 2013. Can they go back-to-back and also win it in 2014? Now, I believe the Buffalo Sabres got last this year trying to get Ekblad. It was Florida who actually won him after getting second last. Florida's team doesn't really look that great, so they might actually get Aaron Ekblad. We'll take a quick look at the Sabres. Sabres look about as good. It's not the best. So yeah, we'll see who wins Aaron Ekblad. Alright guys, we're at the trade deadline here. Again, no blockbuster trade alert, so we'll see what went down. Tobias Enstrom going to Ottawa, like that's a pretty decent trade. Nathan Gerby to Columbus, that's kind of cool because obviously he ended up there. Heavy Bullen to the Lightning, back to the Lightning I should say. PA Parento to the Blue Jackets, are you kidding me? Mike Richards goes to the LA Kings just like in real life. Philly there gets a first round pick and a prospect, that's awesome. I feel like as long as Mike Richards is still an 85, that's probably a blockbuster trade. And then Lubomir Visnovsky there goes to the Devils. That's a pretty big one. Andre Mazzaros and Mark Stewart go to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Brian Boyle to the Flames. Okay, Pittsburgh there gets Ben Bishop in exchange for a 1st and 4th round pick. Last I saw, Bishop was an 82. He must have gone up to like at least 85. And the Flames trade their captain, the heart and soul of the team, Jerome McGinley, to the Nashville Predators. How is that not a blockbuster? I mean, they gave up Cal Peterson, and then they also gave up a prospect there. Unless he's medium elite, maybe Ginla's gone down in rating quite a bit. Adam McQuaid goes to Detroit, and that's it. So, I mean, some big trades, I think. Ginla, Bishop, Visnovsky, Richards. That's a pretty good trade deadline. And we're at the end of the season now, guys. Again, Blackhawks win the division. Avalanche, Blues, Blue Jackets, Red Wings make the playoffs. The Red Wings were actually second last in the division about the trade deadline, but I see our division's insane. Wild 89, Predators 88, second last in the division, and miss. So the Central is stacked. Yeah, look at the Pacific. Canucks, Kings, and Sharks, and a lot more teams there in the 70s. Over in the East, you got the Lightning, Bruins, Panthers, Maple Leafs. So the Panthers do not finish second last like they do in real life. Even the Sabres did better than last place. Penguins, Devils, Rangers, Capitals make it in from the Metro. Okay, as we'll take a look at the league standings here. Canucks taking home the President's Trophy. They finally beat out the Blackhawks, but only by 3 points there. Last place, let's see. It's the Ottawa Centers. They're below us and Vegas. Philly's actually tied with them, both 68, so they're selling, they're rebuilding. Kind of like real life. They lose Pronger, trade away Richards and Carter. They go with Giroux. They kind of start that youth movement. I think they still have Carter, though. Atlanta, Edmonton, Dallas, Phoenix. Vegas actually did better than a lot of teams, which, again, considering where they started from, it's pretty impressive. Nicholas Bergford on our team put up 75-82. That's also pretty impressive. Ovi 111, Stammer 111, Crosby 94. He kind of slacks off a bit once he gets the new contract. Parise, LeCavier at 33, still putting up points. Kovalchuk, same with St. Louis there at 38. Martin Erat on the Golden Knights. Gabrick, I feel like Ovi 65 goals, yeah, does win him the Maurice Richard there. Looking at defenseman, Erik Karlsson 78. Yeah, he's going to be so good. I mean, imagine if Karlsson never got injured, he'd still be nasty. Goligoski on Edmonton, 67. Letang, Edler. Jared Spurgeon, 57. He's up to a 90 at 25. Wow, so he grew a little bit too fast, a little bit too much, but it's whatever. Ryan Whitney still looking really solid. Spin Chicklets fans will love that. Bellamy there, the guy we drafted, looks to be winning the Calder. McKinnon only had 50. Dallas probably should put him on the first line because our guy, yeah, he got an extra 5 minutes a night. That'll do it. Barkov also had 50 there. Jake Gensel at 44. He just got drafted, immediately jumps in the NHL. Pretty impressive, honestly, debut from him. So we'll see how, McKinnon and Barkov grow. McKinnon's 85 already. Barkov 82. And then looking at the goalies here, Halaka the highest save percentage, .92. The highest goals against, Jonathan Bernier. So probably one of those two win the Vezina. The 2014 draft results are in, guys. Carolina there picking first overall, jumping up from number 8. Could take Ekblad, could take Draisaitl. Vegas picking second. They jump up from 9. You got Philly there at 3, Ottawa, then us. I mean, pretty crazy. I might try and take that Vegas pick just so, you know, one of the top players goes to a real team. You guys might see there the Canucks don't get it done in 2011, but they get it done in 2014. The Sedin Twins win their Stanley Cup. How awesome is that? I was really hoping the Sedin Twins win a cup. Like, you never seen that before in the NHL. Like, literally a dynamic duo from birth. I wish they could have gotten it done. So, Canucks here. They beat the Red Wings in 6. That's alright. My team's got the real-life cups. They beat the Kings in 6, defending cup champs. The Blackhawks in 5. So, they literally went through kind of like the toughest gauntlet of teams you could. And then they beat the Devils in 5 there in the Stanley Cup final. The Devils still have Parise. They have Kovalchuk, a good team. I see the Lightning also in the Eastern Conference final. Lightning have a very good team too. So, pretty cool to see that. Looking at the awards now for this season, we already know all the team awards. Canucks cleaned up. Stanley Cup and Presidents. Individual here, Ovechkin Art Ross Trophy. Stamkos, though, again gets the Hart Trophy. That's kind of crazy because St. Louis and LeCavier had a ton of points. And I don't think Backstrom or anyone in the Capitals was top 10 in scoring. And Tampa Bay had 3 guys, but whatever. Eric Johnson was in James North, Colorado. Very interesting. Zach Parise, Lady Bing. This Bellamy guy on our team, of course, Calder Trophy. Henrik Sedin, Conn Smythe. Bernier did win the Vezina. Corey Crawford, William Jennings Trophy. Kevin Klein there, Bill Masterton. Florida coach Jack Adams. Kopitar Selke, pretty cool. Stammer, Ted Lindsay, back-to-back years. And then Ovi there, Maurice Richard, back-to-back. So far the awards have been pretty realistic. I'm pretty happy with the sim so far. And now look at the retired players here, guys. You got some pretty big names. Hal Gill and Jason Blake retire on the Bruins. Brendan Morrison on the Sabres. Paul Mara there on the Dallas Stars. Kimo Timonen on the Red Wing. Same with Philip Kuba. Jaromir Jagr calls it quits with the Florida Panthers, who obviously he did play for. And what's pretty funny is after the 2014 season, when they have Jagr retiring at 42, he went on to play 4 more years in the NHL. Like, just shows you how crazy he is. Corey Stillman there, 41 with the Kings. Andrew Burnett with the Minnesota Wild, he was 40. Jim Vandermeer there, 34 is kind of early. Jamie Langenbrunner there on the Islanders. Scott Hannon. Let's see, Rob Scuderi there. Marty Reisner, Chris Neal. Again, like some old school names here. Matthias Olin stays with the Lightning. Let's see, Marek Sidlicki there. Vegas Golden Knights. Same with Eric Belanger. Patrick Elias didn't retire a Devil. That sucks to see. I'll show you guys the goaltenders. I've forgotten to check goalies. Luckily, I don't think any like stars retired yet, but right here you can see Heavy Bulin, J.S. Jaguar. Retiring with the Avalanche, which is kind of funny because that's actually very retired. Chris Mason, all call it quits. Marty Brodeur, Tim Thomas, still going. And so we're at the 2014 draft now, guys, and I got a bit of a surprise for you. We couldn't do a decade resim without the best player of the second half of the decade. That, of course, is McDavid. So I've added him to the 2014 draft class. High franchise there, projected first overall. His teammate Draisaitl there, second. I was wondering if a team was going to have 2 high picks, somehow get both of them. David Pastrnak there, third. Made-up guy, fourth. Aaron Ekblad's going to go fifth. You got Braden Point there at 6th. Made-up guy. I think that's it for the skaters. I should just kind of keep looking through. I'm pretty sure that's it for the skaters, though. I'll check goalies here for you guys. Like I was mentioning, Shesterkin, Thatcher Demko, Nedeljkovic there. Vanacek as well. I feel like there might be another goalie, Capo Kakinen. So, again, I tried to get, as many prospects as I could. Snipe and Score did a really good job, but I was able to add just a bit more here to try to have some more real-life players the further we get into this sim. So, Carolina's going to be taking McDavid first overall. Very interesting. Vegas is going to want Draisaitl second, so I'm going to try and make sure that doesn't happen. And I just sent through the first 2 rounds of the draft, guys. Of course, Connor McDavid went first overall. 82 overall, high franchise. Honestly, I feel like that's a pretty decent rating for McDavid out of the draft. Probably should have been more like an 84, but again, it's hard to make a guy's rating when he's 14. He's going to have 3 years in junior. A created player, of course, second. Draisaitl third, actually is 83 out of the draft with medium franchise, so he must have simmed better than McDavid did during the junior years. Pastrnak 81 high league to Ottawa. Ekblad 79 medium league to Vegas. Point 79 medium league on Atlanta. And then Edmonton here got this made-up guy at 7. And what I decided to do, guys, was use one of our players to get Ekblad from Vegas, and I then flipped him to Edmonton for Christie. That way, I'm basically trying to keep Seattle and Vegas where all like the made-up guys are. I think that was it for the first round for like real players. I don't think any goalies went in the first, unless Shesterkin might have been. Look at that, how perfect. Shesterkin 24th to the Rangers, 72 medium elite. Demko 72 medium elite goes to the Sharks, and he'll definitely help them out in net. Now in the second round here, I think it's just goalies. First pick, second round, Flyers get Nedeljkovic. So him and Draisaitl, 2014 draft, looking very good for them. Let's see here. I feel like there was another goalie that went in the second round. Vanacek to the Florida Panthers there. And I think the only other goalie now might be Kakkonen, who didn't go until the 3rd. And as you guys can see there, he was the 10th pick in the 3rd round by the Sabres. So pretty cool draft. Again, this is the last draft with actual, like, real prospects in it. Unfortunately, the next 5 drafts are all going to be made-up players, but there's just no way around it. And we're going to take a look at the players in 2014 free agency. Phil Kessel, he wants $13.4. People said his, what was it, like $8 million contract at least was too much money. That's crazy. Is this... Okay, I thought that was Victor Rask. No, it's some guy named Rakos. Brad Marchand. Is he on the free agent market? He is, leaving Boston. Marian Gaborik, Yuri Hudler up to an 87. I remember he had one really good year at the Flames, so could have happened in this sim for sure. Pavelski leaving the Sharks. Paul Stastny, Andy McDonald, Drew Stafford, Nyquist there. Should be an RFA. Okay, he is. Joe Thornton leaving the Sharks as UFA. He's only in his 86 now at 34. Still got really good hands though. Decent shot. I feel like that's, you know, relatively realistic. Really good offensive awareness as well. 95, just slower. Yeah, like I feel like that's not too bad. Jay Bomeister, Shane Doan, the All-Star. Someone could get him and Thornton. Iginla there. So they trade him, and now he's in free agent. Maybe he'll go back to Calgary. Larry Jarmelson. Take a look at goalies here. Lundqvist, are you kidding me? Leaving New York. No loyalty in this sim. Varlamov's available. Same with James Reimer. Ben Bishop there is only an 83, because remember that was a big trade. And that was a rental too for him. Wow. So we're now at the start of the 2014-15 season, guys, and look at this. Brad Marchand is a Montreal Canadian. I don't think I would have ever seen the day where this happens, but they paid him $12 million. So, I mean, for that much money, he's going to Montreal. Nashville here, I want to show you guys. They made a big sign. Oh, there he is, the All-Star, Danny Heatley. Joined some good young players. Mark Scheifele, Philip Forsberg. Yossi, there's an 88 now. Ryan Suter. You gotta think, unless they trade them away, Ekholm there's an 82, Ryan Ellis there's an 83, so yeah, Nashville should be a good team on the come-up. The Devils here, I thought they signed Joe Pavelski and Joe McGinley, so bringing up a couple veterans there to an already good team. And the Rangers were able to keep Marian Gaborik for $10.5 million, so they paid him a lot, but he's a good player, so why not? Phoenix here gets Phil Kessel, very cool, because of course, that's the team he's on now. He ended up getting 11.2 for 7, so pay him until he's 35. I noticed Ekman Larson now has low franchise. I don't know how that happened. Like, his rating's not that crazy or anything. And then Toronto Maple Leafs here got Jumbo Joe, of course. You know, he did go there at one point in real life, so we'll see how he does. I see they have Blake Wheeler now on the team. Cotter's still there. No Kessel, though. And probably the biggest signing, though, was actually done by the Edmonton Oilers. They missed out on McDavid, so they had to go make a splash. They get the best goalie, Henrik Lundqvist, goes to Edmonton. We'll see if that's enough for them to make the playoffs. Also, guys, I should show you what the Stanley Cup winning Vancouver Canucks look like. You got Daniel and Henrik Sedin on the first line with TJ Oshie. Brian Rolston still going at 41 with Ryan Kessler, Sergei Samsonov, Matt Cook, Torrey Mitchell, Colby Armstrong, Antti Mietin in there, Hanzus, Korpiowski. So a pretty good forward group. Edler, Weidman, Garrison, Ehrhoff, Hamhuis, Ballard. No Bieksa, but still good. Luongo, of course, their starter. It's a solid team. So the 14-15 season, this is the year Arizona and Buffalo absolutely tanked. Trying to get McDavid, both failed to do so. And I believe the Blackhawks won the Cup this year. So let's see what happens. So I just past the trade deadline, guys. Again, no blockbuster alert. I'm not sure if it's not working. None of these trades are considered blockbusters, but you got Martin Havlat going to the Preds. I mentioned them being a good young team. They must be going for it. They're trading their first-round pick. Mark Letestu there goes to Detroit. Thomas Fleischmann on the Calgary Flames. Curtis Glencross and Jordan Tutu go to Phoenix. Darren Helm goes to Buffalo. Jason Demers goes to the Islanders. Martin Erat to the Leafs. Tyler Ennis there to Nashville. You then have Mike Ribeiro going to Buffalo. John Michael Lyles to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Stepniak going back to Chicago. Kolyakovo and Kelly to Edmonton. Jake Allen and a second rounder to the Dallas Stars. Andy McDonald, Brian Allen to go to Carolina. Sakara Cabriolet and Billy Leno to Montreal. And it looks like they got back a prospect and a couple picks. So, I mean, yeah, probably no blockbusters here. Fair enough. And we're at the end of the season now, guys. First thing I got to point out, somehow our assistant GM found a way for our team to make the playoffs. I'm going to have to go in and just make the team worse because I don't want them making the playoffs. Blackhawks win the division. Will they win the Cup? The Blue Jackets are second. Predators third. Avalanche in the playoffs there. Oilers win their division. Lundqvist had to be a big factor. Kings Canucks also back in it. Over in the East, you got the Maple Leafs winning their division. Lightning and Bruins. I'm surprised the Bruins. They've lost Krejci. They've lost Marchand. Tim Thomas isn't on the team either anymore, but Tuukka Rask much higher rated now. And over in the Metro, Capitals, Penguins, Rangers, Hurricanes, Devils. The Hurricanes not only have McDavid, but they also have Nuge and Barkov. They obviously still have Jeff Skinner, who's probably going to play better in the sim than real life. So Hurricanes are going to be nasty. And looking at the entire league here, guys, Washington wins the President's Trophy, 120 points. What a year for them. And again, so many teams 100 plus. There was 10. I'm curious. Vegas didn't make the playoffs. Atlanta 45. Ouch. Oh no. Not a good look for Atlanta. What is there, like 7, 8 teams below Vegas? So, I mean, good for Vegas, I guess. Take a look now at the entire league. See who won that Art Ross trophy. Maurice Richard, etc. Nick Backstrom, 108 points. Ovi, 107. The duo. Stammer, 104. He's still up there. Crosby, 103. Malkin. Milan Michalek, I think. Oh, wait. I was going to say he's made up, but no. Milan Michalek used to play for the Centers. 31, 83 overall. He must have just been the third player on that top line with Ovi and Backstrom. Although Marcus Johansson also put up 94. What? Johansson's 85, so I don't know who was on the first line with Ovi and Backstrom. I want to know, though, because that's crazy. Martin St. Louis there. Derek Roy at 90 with the Panthers. Teddy Purcell, 89 with the Penguins there. We'll check goals here. Evgeny Malkin takes on Maurice Richard. Very cool. Victor Headman looks like a good chance to win the Norris. Keith, better plus minus. Bit less points. Carlson there, not a great year for him. Really no young guys have stepped up quite yet. Looking at the rookie skaters here. Our made-up guy, first place. Draisaitl and McDavid both had 53. I mean, neither actually won a Calder, so I guess this is kind of, sim accurate. McDavid's only gone up by 1. Draisaitl's already up by 2, though, on the Flyers. Pretty cool. And then goaltending-wise here, Steve Mason. He's an 85, but he had 45 wins. Save percentage-wise, he also had the best save percentage for a starter, so he should win the Vezina. And I almost forgot to show the Capitals lines here, guys. So I was right. Michalek was on the top line, but Johansson, second line center, put up 94. Maybe he got some power play time. He did get some power play time. There you go. Still, Capitals are a top-heavy team. We'll see if Ovi can lead them to a cup in the sim, just like he did in real life. And look at this, guys. Draft lottery results are in. Calgary picking first overall. So if I could have put McDavid in the 2015 draft, it'd be Calgary take. Edmonton fans, I think, would hate me. And I think I predicted it. The Capitals win the 2015 Stanley Cup, led by Ovechkin and Backstrom. How cool is that? I'll take a quick look here at the playoff tree, see their road to it. They swept the Devils, beat the Penguins in 7. What a series that would have been. Ovi, Crosby in their prime. I mean, we saw those series, but a series to watch. Unfortunately, you can only watch your team in the sim. They then beat the Leafs in 5 in the conference final. What are the Leafs doing there? And then they beat the Avs in 7 in the Stanley Cup final. The Avs really shouldn't have been there either. The Avs went through the Blackhawks in 7, who actually won the Cup. Preds in 5, Kings in 7. Pretty cool, honestly. I think the sim is doing a good job overall. So awards here. And look at that. They won the Stanley Cup and President's Trophy, just like the Canucks did the year before. Individual, Backstrom, Art Ross, and the Hart. Duncan Keith got the James Norris. Nick Backstrom, Lady Bing. So Backstrom's got a lot of hardware already. Imagine he wins the Conn Smythe. As I mentioned, the Calder, they went to our guy, so back-to-back years we actually had the Calder Trophy winner. Backstrom did win the Conn Smythe. Wow. What a season for him. Very, underrated guy, unsung hero. Finally getting his due. Steve Mason, Vezina Trophy, we called it. Luongo, Liam Jennings. O'Byrne there in Philadelphia, Bill Masterton. Carolina coach, Jack Adams. Yeah, I mean, I think McDavid probably deserves the Jack Adams, not the Carolina coach, but whatever. Crosby gets a Selke. That's kind of cool. Backstrom also got the Ted Lindsay, and then Malcolm Reese Richard. So, yeah, Nick Backstrom, what a year for him. And look at retired players now, guys. We can actually sort by points. Teemu Selanne calls it quits with the Red Wings. I honestly would have loved if he signed with the Red Wings, as the Mighty Ducks were my second team as a kid. Paul Kreier was my favorite player, so Selanne joining my favorite team would have been so cool. Andy McDonald there at 37, kind of an early retirement. Jochen Heck there, guy I kind of forgot about. Brennan Morrow, stayed with the Stars. Ray Whitney, Tim Connolly, Steve Sullivan, Joe Corvo, Dan Boyle, Brian Rafalski was on Edmonton, Saku Koivu went to the Penguins, Sergei Gonchar was on Vegas, Dvorak, Zubris, Dan Cleary there, Brian McKay, Brian Rolston, Adam Foote just called it quits at 43 with the Ottawa Centers, Andrew Farron. Wow, so again, really cool to see kind of what happens with these guys. Goaltending wise, Thomas Vokoun retired there, was in the AHL, only a 75. Chris Osgood was on Boston. And there's 2 big names not here. Martin Brodeur, Tim Thomas. They're still holding out and trying to stay in the NHL. Alright guys, so we're at the 2015 free agency. I just skipped over the draft since it's all created players. I feel like no one really cared. I noticed Alex Burrows is actually on our team, so that's kind of cool. I don't think he was on the Canucks when they won the Cup, though. Philip Forsberg. He wants $13 million as an 88. He's 20. Voracek there's a free agent. I'm not sure why a lot of 25-year-old free agents are popping up, but 86, he wants 12 mil. Some created players. Alexander Frolov there, Martin Eratz, Zibanejad, Patrick Sharp, Thomas Hertl, Jason Spezza still a good player, Sean Couturier. A lot of like the RFAs looking for their first big contract. Okay, so Kyle Turris, some big names. JVR, Hayduk there down to 79. He still wants 6.2 million. Aginla, a free agent again. Okay, Simone Gagne there. Wow, John Gibson and Pekka Rinne. Rinne was on our team. I actually bought him out so some other team could have him. Marc-Andre Fleury, leaving Pittsburgh, not via Vegas expansion, but via free agency. Wow, Antiniemi, like I mentioned, Brodeur, 80 overall still at 43. It's kind of impressive. He wants a new contract. He wants a new team. Ben Bishop is there as well. All right, so we'll sim through the free agency here, guys. And what I'm actually going to do at the start of next season is go through and look at every single team since we're at the halfway point of the simulation. I want to get an updated look at every single team's roster, sort of have like a better idea of the NHL landscape, which teams are contenders, and which ones are rebuilders. Throughout the start of the 2015-16 season, and to give you an updated look at every single team, I'm just going to use the trade screen. I think it's a lot easier. Plus, you can see their trade value as well as their contract right next to it. Just a lot more information here. So Anaheim, Getzlav, Perry at 30, 91 overall. They're still all-stars. Gaudreau's 85 now at 22. Fowler there's looking pretty good. Bobby Ryan's still on the team. They're all right. I'm going to go through and look at the goalie situations after and kind of point out any cool ones to you guys. Brain Point, highest value player there on Atlanta. They got a couple made-up guys. Dougie Hamilton and Seth Jones they drafted. Havlat, Jardev, Andrew Ladd, Jeff Petrie. No Justin Bufflin, though, so you got traded or they just didn't re-sign him. Boston still has Bergeron and Sagan, but again, no Marchand, no Krejci. They still have Lucic, though. Char's still there as well. Only an 81 and 38. He was at least a mid-80 still at this point, so it kind of sucks to see him regress that fast. Milan Hajduk I saw as well sign with them. Boston here, Thomas Vanek, Ponville, still on the team. Calgary Flames, they got Mikael Backman's 84, Giordano. Really no superstar, though. Just a bunch of like decent guys. Maybe that Ryder dude will be just that. Carolina, McDavid, max trade value after the one rookie season. What do you have again? 53 points. He had 107 there for Erie. I should show you guys, I guess, McDavid's stats. Wow, after 1 year. I mean, honestly, that's realistic. Look how good he already is. 90 offensive awareness, only 80 D awareness, but yeah, his shot, his hands are insane. And they got Barkov. Nuge became a 90 for them. His potential's up to high elite. Eric Stoll still an 89. Jeff Skinner 84. This team is so stacked. Chicago here, Kane's nasty. Same with Keith and Tays still. Seabrook 88. He doesn't really regress for a couple more seasons. This Forsberg guy, low rated but medium elite. Grabowski for elite. Hosa's still good. Colorado Avalanche, Duchesne's a 90. O'Reilly 88. David Jones got up to an 87. He had a couple good seasons on Colorado. Eric Johnson 86 there. Barry 83, but solid offensive defenseman. Mike Fisher there. Columbus, Rick Nash hasn't left yet. Ryan Johansson up to an 86. Atkinson. Voracek, that's right, was in free agency, so he went somewhere new. Dallas, Nathan McKinnon there, 88. They got Hertl behind him and Couturier. I mean, that 1-2-3 punch there is nuts. They got Jamie Benn and Eriksson as solid wingers to put in the top 6. Yanni Gordy even 81. John Klingberg's only an 80 at 23. That's not good. He's kind of looking like a bit of a bust, to be honest. Maybe they got to boost him to high top 4. Some of these potentials, like, they looked good, but I don't know. Maybe they're not good, or maybe they just had a bad sim. It's tough to say. Nyquist up to an 86 for Detroit. Zetterberg still 88. Datsuk's down to an 81 now at 37. What's kind of crazy is this season we're about to sim was Datsuk's last year. The thing is, it wasn't his last year because he wasn't good enough. He was still a good player, like at least mid-80s, if not a high 80, honestly. Franzen's still there. Edmonton Orders here. They got Ekblad, of course. Landeskog, Hall. It's a pretty good trio to build a team around. Sam Gunny's up to an 87. Goligoski, they got Brent Burns in Edmonton. Scott Gomez. It's looking like a good team. The Panthers got Derek Roy there. Danov, of course. Alright, I mean, I don't know. Could have better players. Kopitar and Doughty, of course, leading that Kings team. Ryan Whitney still there. Mike Richards, I still can't believe Philly literally traded Exact Destination. Jack Johnson, Andre Palat, Martinez. The Wild there. Spurgeon here looking like a superstar. He's up to high elite potential. Hubert Doe, Gensel. That's a few good players to build around as well. Montreal's got 91 Subban and Marchand. Plekanec's still there. David Desharnais up to an 86. Wisniewski, Steve Downey up to an 86. What the heck? It's pretty good rating for him, I'd say. Gallagher 84. That's pretty good. He should be like 85 hopefully within a couple years. Weber, Yossi leading that Preds D. They got Scheifele, Forsberg. Hornqvist still there. Suter. Ellis, Ekholm. Their D is stupid good. Danny Healy, they signed the All-Star. On the Devils, Kovalchuk, Parise, Pavelski, that's right. Trevor Daley, JVR on that team now with Matt Calvert. The Islanders here still have Tavares. When's he signed till? 4 more years, so maybe he'll leave in the last year. Grabner, Bailey, Okposo. TJ Oshie is now an Islander. No longer with the Vancouver Canucks. Okay. Henrik DeHaan haven't grown too much. The Rangers, of course, still have Gabrick. Kreider's up to an 86. Stepan 85. Nathan Horton on the team. Girardi. We're looking pretty good. Ryan Callahan there, 84. Next up, you got the Ottawa Centers. Erik Karlsson's a 94 overall D-man. Kucherov there, 89. Mark Stone's up to an 88 already. Zibanejad's on that team now. Who drafted him? The Islanders did. Trade him to the team that actually drafted him in real life. That's kind of funny. Spezza's still there. David Pastrnak as well. That's right. This Senators team should be nasty. The Flyers, Giroux, Draisaitl. Carter's still there, though. They haven't traded him like they did Mike Richards. Kessel there, leading the Coyotes. Ekman Larsson still has that low franchise. Pittsburgh, I mean, Malcolm Crosby with a tank. Altogether still real life. They're going to carry this team. Will they get the back-to-back cups, though? 16-17, so this season. Next, Bufflin went to the Sharks. Okay, same with Wojtek Wolski. Stastny, Couture. Sharks looking a little weak. The Blues here, Pietrangelo, Tarasenko leading as they should be. Backus, Hudler's on the team. Shattenkirk. Looks like a pretty good team. Tampa Bay, Stamkos and Headman. St. Louis, Lecavalier haven't, retired yet. They're still looking good. Johnson's up to an 83 there. Filppula joined the Lightning. That's another thing, just like real life. Very, very cool. I like it when that happens. Turson, 82. Toronto, Phaneuf, 89. I don't know if he was ever quite an 89. Christopher Stieg, 88. That's crazy. Wheeler, 86. I'd like him to get a bit higher. Kadri there. Sharp. Bozak. Andre Kostitsyn. Canucks here. Ryan Kessler. Okay, Daniel Sedin, Henrik Sedin are still there. They just dropped in rating. I was like, did the Sedin twins get traded? What the heck happened? I mean, Daniel Sedin, 36, only 84. He had 65 points. I'm guessing just because he's a veteran. Yeah, skating stats have dropped quite a bit. Next year, you have the Washington Capitals, kind of like the Penguins. They're led by their big three in Ovi, Karlsson, and Backstrom. Mike Green's still there. Very good offensive D-man. Marcus Johansson, of course. McCallick, who was great on that first line. Olli Jokinen. And then that's actually it. Okay, so I mean, it's really cool to see like how these teams build, which teams are going to be bad. Obviously, real life, the bad teams were like Buffalo, Phoenix, Edmonton. Florida wasn't really great till recently. This Boston team's not looking good, to be honest. They lost a lot of key pieces. Now, they still have Tuukka Rask, who's a 90 overall. I wrote down some teams whose goalie situation I want to show you guys. Columbus, for some reason, has Gibson and Mason, so they're going to trade one of them to who, I don't know. Florida Panthers here have Vasilevsky, who's 85 overall already at 21. And they also have Jacob Markstrom, who's up to an 84 at 26. Then the Islanders here have an 87 overall Connor Hellebuck at 21. Schneider's still good at 86, so they'll probably trade one. Rick DiPietro, they refuse to buy out. The Pittsburgh Penguins here signed Pecorine, who we let go to free agency. And then the Sharks here signed Marc-Andre Fleury, who obviously Pittsburgh lost. So very curious to see what's going to happen in this 15-16 season. Again, real life, Penguins win the Cup. Leafs get last. That's how they get Matthews. Let's see what happens in the sim. And so I just sim past the trade deadline, guys. Again, no alerts. But look at this. First trade's a big one. Joe Thornton goes to the Devils with Carl Gunnarsson. Maple Leafs there get Andre Pavlich and a second-round pick. Andrew Ladd to the Canucks. Atlanta there gets some picks. Artem Anisimov to Montreal. Edward Vlasic to Ottawa. I was saying, I think Ottawa's going to do really well looking at the players they've gotten. Dan Girardi there goes to Tampa Bay from New York. I'm pretty sure that happened in real life. Tobias Enstrom to Dallas. Jake Allen to Ottawa. Okay. Let's see what else. Nicholas Kronwall to the Islanders. I didn't realize he left Detroit. That one hurts. And the regular season's now over here, guys. Blackhawks continuing their dominance. 111 points there, win the division. Wild and Avalanche also make it. The Red Wings there miss the playoffs. Other Western teams there, Kings, Canucks, Ducks, Oilers, and Coyotes. Out in the East, Lightning, Canadiens, Senators, and Maple Leafs. So if there's like a computer-generated Austin Matthews, Maple Leafs will not be getting him. And then Islanders, Penguins, Capitals, and Devils. Okay, so we'll see what happens in this 2016 playoffs. Who's it going to be? Take home the cup again. This is the start of the Penguins back-to-back. I just realized that the Penguins even make the playoffs. LA Kings, their presence, 115. Pittsburgh is in the playoffs. Okay, so they have a shot to do the back-to-back. And last place was Atlanta again, 66. You gotta feel bad for Atlanta. Like, they didn't move to Winnipeg, but they're not looking good here. And Vegas, I don't even see them. Are they actually like a competitive team? Vegas might make the playoffs. That'd be pretty good. Again, for a team that started from nothing, I'll take a look at the stats here. It's always cool to see. I like the fact, too, it's been pretty realistic so far. Stammer there, 100 points. With injuries turned off, Stammer's an absolute beast, and honestly, if he never got injured, I think this is exactly what would have happened. Getzlav, big year for him at age 30. Ovechkin there, Kopitar as well, Crosby, Malkin, Basham, Tavares, Martin St. Louis still going at 40. And Crosby there wins Maurice Richard again, 59 goals. Defenseman here. Letang, okay. Tied with Carlson. He's got +4 better. More penalty minutes. Interesting. So Norris probably goes Letang, but could go Carlson. Spurgeon there. Again, I only gave him medium elite. He really must have simmed well because he's got that high elite now. Rookie skaters. Made up guy here on the Coyotes with 48 points. David Pastrnak there at 37 for Ottawa. He's already an 84 overall. I'm surprised. Only 37. They gotta put him on the first line. Like, what are they doing? And goalie-wise, Bernier. He's up to. He's only an 85, but wow. Save percentage here for a starter looks to be James Reimer on the Rangers, .921. And the draft results are in, guys. Dallas picking first overall, so they're gonna add a first overall pick, you know, a quote-unquote Matthews, to Nathan McKinnon, Sean Couturier, Thomas Hertl. That's nuts. Florida there gets the 2 pick. Atlanta 3. I can see Vegas picking 4 with our pick. Minnesota picking 6 via Nashville. I want to know who Minnesota got from Nashville. I'll have to go take a look at that team because I didn't notice anything. We were looking like at all the teams early in the year. Tampa Bay Lightning here take home the Stanley Cup, so they win it 4 years early. Now they did make the Stanley Cup final in 2015 before losing to the Blackhawks, so winning it a year after, again, I think is pretty true to real life. Now they beat the Maple Leafs there in 6 in the first round, swept the Senators, Capitals in 7 before beating the Kings in 5. So, I mean, you got the Kings Blackhawks in the final, Kings winning in 7. The fact that those two teams are still there is very, very cool. The Penguins get swept by the Capitals, so that's tough for them. They're supposed to win it, but what are you going to do? We'll take a look at the awards here. Of course, Tampa Bay there with the Stanley Cup. Individual, Stamkos, Art Ross, and the Hart. His 3rd Hart in 4 years. Are you kidding me? Victor Hedman gets his 2nd, James Norris. Johnny Gaudreau with the Lady Bing. This made-up guy, Calder. Stamkos, Conn Smythe as well. James Reimer, Vezina. I didn't think I'd ever see that. He also got the William Jennings Trophy. Wow. Roslav Klesla, Bill Masterton on Dallas. Minnesota coach Jack Adams. Bergeron gets another Selke. Stammer, Ted Lindsay, 3rd in 4 years. Crosby, though, Maurice Richard there again. So, pretty cool, honestly, to see what's been going down. We'll get to free agency next. Actually, before free agency, guys, we have retired players. Shane Doan retires as an LA King. I still can't believe he left the Coyotes. Radim Verbata here on the Rangers. Chris Kunitz on Edmonton. Chara there retires with the Bruins at 78, so he's still decent rating. Obviously, we know he doesn't retire. Who knows for how much longer. As in real life, he plays for at least 6 more years. I don't know why like his rating drops so fast. Like, he was high rated, he had good potential. Milan Hajduk there also retires with the Bruins. Matt Cullen, Mike Fisher, Ryan Malone. Lumir Visnovsky, he was down to a 75. Mikhail Samuelson, Sergei Samsonov, Simone Gagne. Was he still good? He dropped all the way to 72. Some of these guys, they drop off fast and hard. Sean Horkoff on the Canucks. Thomas Caberlet on the Montreal Canadiens. Yeah, he was up down to a 75. Mark Savard there does retire at 38. So still, no injuries. He's able to play a bit more there without the concussion. Had some decent years with the Bruins. After that, Joel Ward there on the Blackhawks. Pavel Kabina, Flyers. Alexei Ponikarovsky, Brad Stewart, John Madden, Matt Cook. So yeah, a lot of guys, you know, hanging them up here. Sean Avery. Show you guys the goalies next year. Finally, Martin Brodeur retires with the Rangers, though. So strange. Mika Kiprasov also calls it quits. Same with Marty Turco. Jose Theodore there. I haven't noticed Tim Thomas retiring yet, so I think he's still playing. Now looking at free agency here, guys. Victor Hedman's a free agent. Again, something messed up where guys go to free agency at 25, but whatever. He's asking for $15 million. We're apparently interested in him. I mean, why wouldn't you be 25-year-old, 91 overall D-man? That's going to hurt Tampa, and I mean, they just won the Cup, so what's he doing leaving? Forsberg there, 90 overall at 21. He's grown a ton. Kucherov's a 90, RFA as well. Barkov, Jason Spezza is available. Anisimov, Hartnell, Troy Brouwer up to an 86. Pretty good for him. Mr. Game 7's an 85. Goligoski wants $10 million as an 85. Jake Gensel's an 85. Derek Stepan, Louis Eriksson. There's some players available. Martin St. Louis might leave Tampa too. So the Stanley Cup champions could be a new look team. Henrik Sedin in free agency. Are you kidding me? Gallagher there, Alex Tongue. If Canucks break up the Sedin twins, Datsuk's a free agent as well. 84 overall. I think he actually bounced up then, right? Wasn't he like an 81, I think, when we were looking at it? Yeah, he had a good season, so that would explain why. 69 points. He's going to leave Detroit still, even though he's not going to Russia. He's going to leave him. But, I mean, they could, potentially still sign him back. Goaltending-wise, letting in here. I think this is just some made-up dude. Yeah, 2022 third-rounder. Ward, though, Niemi, Elliott, Kemper, Sorokin, Neuwirth, Grubauer, Anderson, Jones, Talbot, all potentially get new homes. So we're now at the start of the 16-17 season, guys. I want to show you some of the bigger moves from the summer. Jake Gensel here, I believe, signed an offer sheet with the Boston Bruins. Was drafted by Minnesota. Boston now has him. I mean, a first line of him, Sagan, and Bergeron could be absolutely nasty. After that, the Calgary Flames, they got the #1 free agent this summer, Victor Headman. $15.5 million they're paying him. That's a lot of money. I don't know if Tampa Bay had it or not, but you'd think they try and match. Now, Carolina here, I mentioned, has McDavid and Barkov and Nuge. All three are 89. Stahl still an 88. They've also added Martin St. Louis, so I think they're going to be a contender this year for sure. After that, guys, the Minnesota Wild here, they made a signing as well. They got Drew McGinley, only 83, but, still bringing in that vet. New York Islanders here still haven't bought out Rick DiPietro. I've been checking. But they did add both Jason Spezza and TJ Oshie. So Islanders looking a lot better. And finally, Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, this actually is kind of funny. Vegas Golden Knights signed Datsuk. That's probably similar to him going back to Russia. Signed for a team that's not even, supposed to be in the league here. Also, guys, I wanted to give you a look at the Stanley Cup winning Tampa Bay Lightning. Obviously, they've lost St. Louis and Headman. And you can kind of see it looking at this roster. 281s on that first line with Stamkos. Turris is the second line center. Venkatatishan, I don't know how to say this. Made up dude. Lecavier's third line center. He's still on the team. Hasn't been bought out. Girardi there's on the top pair. Woo. This Lightning team, they got Varlamov and Dubnyk in net though. A couple of good goalies, but yeah, definitely looking a lot worse. So I just sent through the 16-17 season up to the trade deadline. Again, no blockbusters. We'll take a look here. Tyler Myers to Ottawa, that's a pretty big trade. Ray Emery there to the Penguins. Steve Mason to Detroit. We saw that they had 2 goalies now. They signed Gibson, or they traded for Gibson, I forget. But definitely could afford to give up one of them. Jamie Clement to Tampa Bay. Let's see, Marcel Goc there to Montreal. Michael Del Zaro to the Sharks. Lars Eller to the Sharks. MacArthur to Anaheim from Detroit. Christian Ehrhoff to Hurricanes. That's a big get for the Hurricanes. I mentioned them looking sick. I think Hurricanes might win it this year. And we're not at the end of the season here, guys. Blackhawks again win the division and the conference. Blackhawks are just so nasty. Wild in the playoffs, Blue Jackets, Avalanche, Predators. We actually missed by 3 points, and we lost 8 or 9 straight here to end of the year before winning against the Red Wings. So I'm glad we're not in the playoffs, but I mean, we probably should have been. Over in the Pacific, Oilers win the division. Kings and Canucks also making it. In the East, oh wow. I don't know what the Golden Knights did, but they win the division out of nowhere. Senators, Maple Leafs, Panthers, and Lightning get in. I didn't think the Lightning team was good enough. That's a surprise. Over in the Metro, Capitals, Flyers, and Rangers, Penguins miss. I think that might be the first time the Penguins have missed. Obviously, Crosby and Malkin, Letang kind of carrying that team. So we'll take a look here and see who got last. I'm actually not sure. I was looking mostly at the playoff teams. As well as the President's Trophy winner, Vegas Golden Knights. It's kind of crazy. Obviously they've had, what is this, the 7th year? But the fact they started from nothing, it's impressive for sure. 5 teams there, the 100+. And last place, the Montreal Canadiens. That's not good. That's where they are right now in real life. You hate to see that. So I'll look at points now here to see who led the league in scoring. I'm waiting to see how long it takes for McDavid to take over the league. Krejci. What? Krejci at 117. Sergei Kostitsyn 111. He's an 88. Krejci's an 87. Krejci makes sense. How did Sergei Kostitsyn get so good? I mean, he's actually been playing pretty well since he went to Vegas. So going to Vegas from Nashville really revitalized his career there. Crosby 101. Made up guy 96. Ovi 93. Draisaitl 92 points. Kane, Zetterberg, Malkin. Taking a look at goals here, Ovechkin taking home the race for Richard. Defensively, Carlson again leading in points. Keith, though, 4 less and a plus 64. That is ridiculous. Wow. Kevin Shattenkirk, good year. Dion Phaneuf. Morgan Riley. He's also an 88 now. He's a big player there for Vegas. Eric Johnson looking good for Colorado. So that Shattenkirk-Johnson trade seems to be working out for both teams here. Rookie skaters. I was hoping somebody real was still in it, but doesn't look like it. So I think we can stop looking at rookie skaters. And Peter Mrazek. Wow, he's up to an 84 at 25, which is around where he was rated at 25 in real life. 43 wins. Best save percentage here for a starter is going to be Henrik Lundqvist with .918 on Edmonton, so maybe he'll take on the Vezina. I do want to take a look, too. I don't know if Carolina made the playoffs, and I was saying I thought they were going to be a contender. They did not. That's rough. And the Montreal Canadiens there, guys, are picking first overall. Buffalo jumps from 6th to 2nd. Vegas wins the President's Trophy and still has a top 5 pick via Atlanta. I don't know what Atlanta's doing over there. And look at this, guys. The Lightning, back-to-back cup winners, which means Tampa Bay got their back-to-back cups 4 years early. Instead of winning in 20 and 21, they win in 16-17. It's also kind of cool how Penguins went back-to-back. In this game, it's Tampa going back-to-back, so a team still, won back-to-back. I think I've said that phrase enough times now. I honestly didn't expect it from Tampa either. I thought losing Headman, St. Louis, they couldn't have done it. They beat the President's Trophy winners in the first round in 5, sweep the Senators, who have a good team, sweep the Capitals, and beat the Blue Jackets in 5. Good for the Blue Jackets, making the Cup final, but the Lightning lost 2 games their entire playoff run. That's nuts. Blue Jackets there beat the Wild in 7, Preds in 7, then the Canucks in 6. We'll take a look at the awards next here. Again, Tampa Bay back-to-back. Vegas win the Presidents. I still can't believe either. Krejci, Art Ross, and the Hart. Duncan Keith, James Norris. So he did win it even though he had slightly less points. Krejci, Lady Bing as well. Woodworth there on Flyers. Calder. Matt D'Agostini, Conn Smythe. Playing with Stamkos did wonders for him. Lundqvist did win the Vezina, along with the William Jennings Trophy. Douglas Murray, I believe, got to Bill Masterton. Flyers coach Jack Adams. Barkov, Selke, so that's pretty cool. Krejci, Ted Lindsay as well, and then Ovi there. His 3rd Maurice Richard in 5 years. Wow. And looking at retired players here, guys, Martin St. Louis calls it a career at 42 years old. He was like, you know what, if this team with McDavid, Barkov, Nuge isn't going to make the playoffs, I'm done. Patty Marleau there retires with the Blackhawks. Same with Danny Heatley. Joe Thornton as well in the Devils. He's still going in real life, so early retirement. David Legwand, Ryan Smith. I think Ryan Smith actually played quite a while. I was going to say, I think when you see guys like Thornton and Char retiring early, it just kind of puts in perspective how long these guys are really playing when, their video game self is retiring 5 years early. Eric Cole there was on Phoenix. Pascal Dupuis was a free agent. Koliakovo there on Buffalo. Taylor Pyatt, Derek Morris, Dave Steckel. It was Douglas Murray there who won an award and then he retires. Dennis Seidenberg, okay. Francois Beauchemin. Looking at goalies next here, Tim Thomas finally hangs him up at 43. He was actually playing for the Boston AHL team there, down to a 73. Martin Biron, Rick DiPietro. He still had 5 years left on that contract, which in real life they bought out for free. So it's good to see him retire early. I think they got 3 more years here to try and, do something with that extra cap space now. And around the 2017 free agency, guys, Leon Draisaitl, 92 overall, looking for $14 million off his rookie deal. That's pretty crazy. We'll see if the Flyers are able to get him signed. Philip Forsberg also looking for a big contract. Sean Couturier, a lot of RFAs here. Nick Foligno, though, wants almost $10 million, 30 years old. I don't know. Johnny Gaudreau wants 13 as an 86. That's kind of crazy. He had a decent year. His hands are nuts, which they should be. I don't know about that money, though. Lucic there, Ryan Clough. Ryan Clough, I think, retired in real life at this point. Louis Eriksson. Let's see, Brian Little, Stephen Weiss, Chris Stewart, Brooks Lake, Tyler Myers, Marchessault there, P.A. Parento, Dustin Brown. Goalie-wise, Connor Hellebuck, RFA. Same with Vasilevsky, who's an 88. Sorokin, 87. Okay. Jonas Hiller, Ray Emery, Pavlich, Anderson, Dubnyk. A lot of good goalies available again. I mean, look at this. There's Lincolns, Bishop, Talbot. Jeez. Alright, guys, now at the start of the 17-18 season, I feel like most of the best players in free agency this summer were all RFAs, so really not a lot of movement. But I did see that Marian Gaborik went to the arch rival, the Rangers, and the Islanders. Also, another cool thing that worked out like real life. Jarmelson here left Chicago for the Coyotes, so pretty cool whenever that happens. Ekman Larsson then went from low franchise to low top 4. It's a big drop-off, but it's actually a little bit realistic of a drop-off. So I'll take a look at the Tampa Bay Lightning again, the Cup-winning team. I feel like they haven't changed much. They do have this guy, though. First-round pick, 2023, 86. He's solid. Terence LeCavier on the second line. There's Regan guys on the third line. Defensively here, they got Jeff Schultz with Girardi. So just defensive guys. Nikita Nikitin, Jamie McBain, Michael Sauer there. That Ross Arsene guy I think's made up. Varlamov's their starter. Ellis backing him up. Let's see if they three-peat. And finally, guys, we have a blockbuster trade to announce. Ilya Sorokin and a third-rounder go to Vancouver. Dennis Weidman and Barrett Jackman go to Montreal with a fourth-rounder. Pretty cool to see. It took a while. What's it been, like 6 seasons? So we'll see all the other trades that went down here at the trade deadline. I tried looking at this screen after the draft, thinking some trades would have happened, but it literally was empty. So Yanni Gourde to the Calgary Flames there. Alex Tongue to the Vegas Golden Knights. Steve Bernier, Tomer Rutu to Florida. Let's see. Kevin Bieksa to the Blue Jackets. Alec Martinez there to the Devils. Tyler Bozak goes to Columbus. Roberto Luongo to the Rangers. Vancouver, they're selling. They won their cup. That's crazy. So I don't know why Rangers are making that trade. They already have Shesterkin, who's a good young goalie. I saw he was like 87. Vancouver gets Tyler Myers. Joins the team a bit early. Ryan Whitney there to Buffalo. Okay. James Reimer to the Flames. Giordano to Rangers. Wow. I mean, they add Giordano and Luongo. That's really helping out your defense. You should be allowing a lot less goals. Vancouver there got Sorokin, so that's why to replace Luongo. Jeff Carter to Florida. So Philly finally trades him. They get back Jacob Markstrom, a decent goalie. Carl Reinpret there. Not a bad return. So we're now thinking of the 17-18 season here, guys. Predators there actually win our division. For the first time, it's not the Blackhawks. They're making the playoffs, though. Avalanche are in as well. Kings win the division in the conference. In the Pacific, Ducks, Canucks, Stars, Coyotes also get in. Oilers there last, even with Lundqvist and net. Maple Leafs win their division. Okay, Golden Knights back in it. Senators, Canadiens, Panthers, Penguins, Islanders, and Flyers there. I don't know what's going on with the Hurricanes. Like, I thought their team was stacked, but apparently they're not really building around those young guys. So I'll take a look here and see who won the Presidents, who finished last, and then, of course, you know, who won the Art Ross Trophy there. So the Maple Leafs win the President's Trophy. Good for them. A lot of teams, again, putting up 100-plus points. Montreal, like, just got last. They're back to 100 already. That's pretty impressive. And Atlanta there, I feel so bad. Like I said, they finally returned as a team, and they can't seem to just, you know, put it together and make a competitive roster. Crosby back to winning Art Ross, 119. Malkin there in second. Stammer, a lot of the same guys. Giroux, 103. Ales Hemsky joined the Penguins, put up 99. Draisaitl there. Krejci again, big year. Some made-up dude on the Lightning. I think that was 86. Ovechkin as well. Bobby Ryan's on the Ducks and playing well. He had 89 points this year. Taves, 88. I was basically just kind of looking a bit deeper. David Booth, 34 years old, had 85 points for the Panthers in 88. That's nuts. Michael Grabner at 85 as well. He's an 88. So some of these guys obviously simulate a lot better. Rick Nash still hasn't left the Blue Jackets. And that Lightning guy, letting goals, he's winning the Maurice Richard. Venkateshin. So even though they lost St. Louis, they still, you know, found a replacement for him. Defensively, Erik Karlsson leading in points again. I'm thinking he's going to get another Norris Trophy. Riley, Keith, Green, Doughty. Tobias Enstrom on the Stars. Tian Phaneuf still pretty high. Weber, Subban, neither have been flipped for each other yet. Imagine if that happens. That'd be pretty crazy. And goalies here. Sorokin, most wins on the Canucks, but he must have done a lot of that with his old team, which was Montreal. So save percentage here. Ilya Sorokin, .918 and 2.67. Imagine if the Vezina winner is a goalie that was traded at the deadline. That'd be kind of crazy. And check this out, guys. The 2018 draft results are in. Atlanta, they're picking first overall. New York second. I'm not sure which New York team that is, because I think it's the custom team, so we don't know if it's the Rangers or the Islanders. Toronto 7 via Columbus, so I'll have to go check out Columbus. Trying to figure out which player they got from Toronto. Anaheim Ducks there, win your Stanley Cup. That's kind of surprising, honestly. In real life, it was the Washington Capitals taking on the 2018 Stanley Cup. So we'll see the Ducks road to it here. They went through the Canucks in 6, Kings in 7, Preds in 5, before beating the Leafs in 6. Wow, so the Leafs make it there. Penguins almost made it back. That's pretty impressive. And then the Leafs have the number 7 pick. Not too bad a day to be a Leafs fan. So they also won the President's Trophy. Now looking at the individual awards, Crosby with another Art Ross. He also got the Hart. Erik Karlsson there gets another James Norris. Ales Hemsky, Lady Byng. Nordstrom here on Dallas got the Calder. Corey Perry, Conn Smythe. Sorokin did win the Vezina after being traded. That's crazy. Michael Neuwirth there with Jordan Binnington. Split the William Jennings Trophy. Very cool. Visakis, Bill Masterton on Buffalo. Dallas coach Jack Adams. Taves with another Selke there. Crosby, Ted Lindsay. And then that Venkateshin dude on Tampa with the Maurice Richard. And now, even though I can't view lines, guys, I could take a look at the Stanley Cup winning team via their contract screen. So Ducks here. Getzlaf and Perry still 91s at 33. Bobby Ryan's still there. They never trade him to the Senators. They got Louis Eriksson. Johnny Gaudreau, of course, they drafted. Fowler, Lupo returned to the team. Jonathan Erickson there. Jarrett Stoll's on the team. Matt Hunwick, Brandon Prost. Okay, is that Brian Campbell? I think it is. Yeah, it's 78 overall, 39 years old. Clayton Stoller, Nick Schultz. Tim Stapleton there. Eric Nystrom. Pretty cool, honestly, looking team. Goaltending-wise, Saros was their starters. They lost Gibson, but bringing Saros, Khudobin backing him up. Not bad. And looking at retired players now, guys. Patrick Sharp retires as a New York Islander. Martin Havlat there was on the Vegas Golden Knights. JP Dumont, that's a guy I totally forgot about. Olli Jokinen. Joe McGinley on the Penguins. We obviously know he played for them for a bit. Renee Bork there. Brian Campbell goes out a Cup champ. Brian Giunta. John Michael Lyles. Chris Kelly. Let's see, Danny Briere there was on Minnesota, Jordan Leopold, Vancouver, Tim Stapleton, also Coyotes Cup champ, Kevin Bieksa there on the Blue Jackets, Barrett Jackman, Andy Green, another guy still playing but retires a little bit early, Nicholas Cronwell on Toronto, are you kidding me? Paul Martin there on Vegas. Take a look here at the goaltenders. Roberto Luongo hangs him up with the New York Rangers. Wow, so maybe that's why, he was down to a 78. That's why Vancouver traded him. Wow, at 39 years old. I'm trying to remember when he actually retired. Brizgalov retires as well. Craig Anderson. I just checked, guys. Luongo's last season was 18-19. He just retired at the end of the 17-18 season, so only retiring a year early, that's not too bad. And next year, guys, I'll show you the players in 2018 free agency. This was the year that Tavares signed with the Leafs. I don't think he's a free agent, though. Yeah, he is not. That would have been a big player, though. Would have been crazy to see where he went. Look at the contract ask. Philip Forsberg there, again, needs a new contract. Same with Zibanejad, Nugent Hopkins, Mark Stone, Pastrnak. Honestly, tons of really good young players. Thomas Hertl, Ryan Suter there's 34 now, but relatively young, I think, in this sim. Edler, Dadonov, Nathan Horton, Matt Molson, Brent Burns, only an 85. I gave him a high elite, but I knew he only had a couple years left to grow, so yeah, he never quite reached that high 80 I would like to see him get. Jeff Skinner there, Jason Ponville, Dumoulin. Honestly, tons of guys in this free agent class. Goaltending-wise, a made-up dude. Matty Lettinen, third-round pick, 2022 by the Preds, 90 overall, high elite. Saros there needs a new contract, same with Sheshurkin, Reimer, Mason. And I just realized, guys, Mark Stone's actually a UFA, non-RFA, so very curious to see where he goes. We're at the start of the 2018-19 season here, guys. Want to show you some of the bigger free agent signings. Buffalo got both Alex Edler and Brent Burns. They went up picked up Derek Stepan as well. So, I mean, Buffalo's trying to do something here. Kind of like real life, they haven't really looked that great. Now, Columbus Blue Jackets here, I don't think just did this, but they got Matthias Ekholm, figured I would share that with you guys. After that, Phoenix Coyotes here I saw signed Mark Stone, so kind of like Buffalo, they haven't done much. Maybe Mark Stone will turn that around. On St. Louis here, they were actually able to get Jeff Skinner. And then finally, Vegas Golden Knights here, they were the ones that signed Ryan Suter. And so we'll start this 18-19 sim now, guys. St. Louis was the team that won it in real life. They got Perron, Turris, and Tarasenko as their first line. Back is Skinner, Svedberg there on the second. This doesn't look like that bad of a team, led by Shattenkirk, Pietrangelo. Who do they got in goal? Peter Budaj, Yaroslav Halak? They might have a chance. We're at the trade deadline here, guys. Phoenix got Martin Jones from the Devils. Ottawa gets Brad Richards from the Maple Leafs. I didn't know he was there now, but I'm sure he's a lot lower rated due to his age. Patrick Hornqvist also goes to Ottawa. Okay, Ottawa's stocking up. We'll see if they can, do some damage in the playoffs. Boston there gets Kyle Turris and the Blues. The Blues probably aren't going to win a cup. Trevor Daley goes to Philly. Brooks Lake to Minnesota. Matt Murray to the Hurricanes there. Atlanta gets David Backes and Roman Polak from St. Louis. Yeah, so St. Louis is definitely selling. Let's see. Kadri there goes to the Sharks. Looks like the Leafs might be selling a bit as well. And Alec Martinez to the Minnesota Wild with JVR. It's a pretty big trade. And so we're at the end of the season now, guys. The Kraken are back in the playoffs. The Blackhawks win the division again. It's actually insane. As well as the conference there. The Blues, though, still make the playoffs, even after trading away a bunch of guys. Avalanche and Wild are in. Same with Coyotes, Ducks, and Stars there in the Pacific. Out in the East, Senators win their division. Golden Knights tie them in points, though. Maple Leafs Lightning also get in. Capitals, Dreisaitl's Flyers, and McDavid and the Hurricanes finally make the playoffs. So we'll see who won the President's Trophy as well, who finished last here. The Blackhawks get the Presidents. Just unbelievable how well they've, continued to play here. No drop-off like in real life. Sharks there finished last. Red Wings second last. Now this is the 18-19 season. I believe the Red Wings got like fourth last that year. The next year though, 19-20, they do get dead last. Are you kidding me? Phil Kessel on the Coyotes wins the Art Ross there with 106. Wow. Crosby second. The Bellamy guy who we traded, I believe we drafted, or Carolina drafted, then I think we got him, flipped him. He got third. Stamkos still doing well there. Draisaitl, Carlson, Derek Roy, 94, 35 years old. I mean, he had a couple decent years with Edmonton. I think he was playing in between Draisaitl and Yakupov or something. This Venkateshin guy, 93. Gaudreau, 91 there with the Ducks. Stone had a big year as well with the Coyotes. Ovechkin. I want to take a look at the Hurricanes and see what's going on with McDavid. Why haven't I seen McDavid at the top of the scoring? Only 70 points for this guy. Literally perfect hands, 93 offensive awareness. Really good shot, too. I don't know what's going on with him on Carolina. And look at defenseman here, guys. Erik Karlsson put up 98. The dude has just been, he's gotten so good. 96 overall, insane. Duncan Keith, 35. He's still playing well. Morgan Riley, Mike Green there, still in the Capitals, still putting up numbers. Dan Girardi, a defensive defenseman. He's got him as a two-way here, which is fair enough. Should not be like sixth in scoring. Dougie Hamilton, though, big year for the Thrashers. And then looking at goaltenders, Holtby, 44 wins. Save percentage for a starter. Maybe this Jackson Holland guy on Buffalo, but Jake Allen there, better goals against. Could be taking home a Vezina at 84 overall. And the draft results are in, guys. San Jose, they're picking first overall, so they'd be getting Jack Hughes. Toronto second via Columbus, so they got 2 first-round picks from them. Who was second in that draft? I'm totally blanking. Turcotte went 4. I think Capo Caco was, yeah, Capo Caco, right, went second. You guys can see there the Blackhawks again win a Stanley Cup. Just insane. So quickly before I forget, I want to go look at the Columbus Blue Jackets here. And who did they give Toronto 2 first-round picks for? Maybe it was even an offer sheet. Derek Brassard, Brian Little. Oh, John Gibson in net. It's got to be Gibson. It is Gibson. Okay, and I mean, proving his worth, I think. 89 overall goalie. It's probably why I missed him, too. I was always looking at the skaters. So, the Blackhawks there win another Stanley Cup. We'll take a look at the road to it. They beat the Kraken, our team, in 5. Sweep the Avalanche. Beat the Wild in 7 before sweeping the Golden Knights. I can't believe the Golden Knights made the Stanley Cup final. And they actually played Washington there in the conference, which was really the Stanley Cup final in, was it 2019? No, it was 2018, right? Because the year, of course, the Capitals won. So that's cool to see. I feel bad for St. Louis fans because obviously Chicago's their rival and they win it the year they're supposed to. They get the President's Trophy the same year. Individual here, I can't believe Kessel, Art Ross. That Bellamy guy, the Hart Trophy. Carlson, another James Norris. Phil Kessel also got Lady Byng. Devin here on the Penguins, Calder. Kane, Conn Smythe. Jake Allen did get the Vezina. Holtby, William Jennings, though. Mark Stahl, though, on the Columbus got the Bill Masterton. Carolina coach Jack Adams. Crosby, Selke again. Bellamy, Ted Lindsay. And then Bellamy also got the Maurice Richard. Jeez, shouldn't have traded that guy. I'm now taking a look at the 2019 retired players here, guys. I'm honestly annoyed. Not only did the Canucks split out the Sedin twins, but they traded away both of them. Neither get to retire with Vancouver, had that awesome final home game, where together they scored the game-winning goal on Arizona. Daniel Sedin there, a Dallas Star. Henrik Sedin down here was an Edmonton Oiler. Henrik Sedin, for some reason, way less games played. He was down to a 75 there at 39. And Daniel Sedin here, 73. Okay, so Henrik must have just fallen off earlier. Alex Tongue just retired with Buffalo at 40. Nick Henshropov as well. But you can see these guys quite low rated. I wonder if their X factors kind of kept them, in circulation longer. Teams willing to use them, even if just in the AHL. Alex Burrows there, also in Edmonton. P.A. Parento, Johan Franzen. I think he was like LTI retired before he actually retired for real. Martin Erat, Antoine Vermette, Jokinen there. Alexander Frolov, Brian Boyle, Dave Clarkson, Chuck Kobasu. Jay Bomeister retired there at 36. Maxime Talbot. So, some decent players, but I feel like a lot of the all-stars from 2010 have already retired. Taking a look at the goalies next here. Kerry Lettinen calls it quits. Same with Peter Budaj, Dan Ellis. And next year, guys, we're checking out 2019 free agency. And look at that. John Tavares, #1 free agent. Let's see if he signs with the Leafs. How crazy would that be? Gensel's an RFA at 88. David Pastrnak, also an RFA there. Jordan Stahl. I think I saw he went to, Minnesota after he left Pittsburgh. Not sure if they trade him or he just signed there. I feel like signed there. I think, trade would have popped up. Tyler Toffoli, Brain Shen, a couple LA King prospects there. Marcus Johansson, of course, had a great year with Washington. Hornqvist, Ryan Kessler, still 87 at 34, no injury problem. Obviously, his career didn't end how he wanted it to on Anaheim. Alex Hemsky there, still an 82. So, David Booth there, even still at 84. I'm surprised how good David Booth's been. Tyler Kennedy's at 85 somehow. What the heck? I think some guys, they just have a good year, and obviously they jump up in rating. Just want to make sure I don't miss any, really good players. Milan Michalek, just like Johansson, was great on Washington. Marian Gaborik as well is available. Ryan Ellis there, potentially leaving Nashville. Jeff Petrie, Alec Martinez, Calvin DeHaan. Ryan Whitney here hasn't retired yet. I'm pretty sure at this point in real life he's already retired, started the Spin Chicklets podcast, but in this timeline, he's still going for it, so that's kind of cool. Andrew Ladd, yeah, a lot of guys honestly available this summer. Connor Hellebuck, and he's an RFA. Okay, he's a 25-year-old RFA. Henrik Lundqvist leaving Edmonton. Vasilevsky's an RFA. Those are a few, superstar goalies available. So we're about to start the 2019-2020 season, which is the final year for this video. Want to show you guys some of the moves from the offseason. One thing I just noticed, Ryan Miller's still playing, but he's down to a 78, and he still has a decent amount of value here. Hasn't left Buffalo. Probably just due to his X factors there, get him that value. The Florida Panthers able to keep Vasilevsky. 8.7 million, not bad. Surprised he's only an 87 there for a franchise goalie, but maybe hasn't put up good numbers. Montreal, I saw at Price and Binnington. Not sure if we've already mentioned that. The Islanders here kept Connor Hellebuck, 25 years old, 90 overall, making 10.7. And the Toronto Maple Leafs, where are they? Are the team that signed Henrik Lundqvist. Honestly, I'm hoping the Toronto Maple Leafs can win the Stanley Cup in this final year, because I got to show you guys this. It made me shed a tear. Lundqvist has not done well in the playoffs. Still hasn't won that Stanley Cup. It doesn't look like he's actually made it out of the first round. No more than 7 games played. So would love for the Leafs to go on a bit of a run here with Lundqvist. And I know you guys are probably wondering, did they sign John Tavares? They did not. And now, even though the Maple Leafs didn't sign Tavares, they did sign Braden Schenn here to almost $10 million as an 86 overall player. I remember in his draft, Brian Burke actually wanted him and not Kadri. And now it's looking like they're at least even, if not, Kadri might be the slightly better player. Dallas Stars here, guys, I wanted to show you this. They drafted this Nordstrom dude. 86 overall, franchise potential. They got him 3rd overall. I mean, maybe he's gone up in potential, but they got a franchise guy 3rd overall. That is insane. After that, I got to show you guys on New Jersey. I believe they signed Jordan Staal. They did. He's actually their most valued player. Sorry, he's the highest rated player. I have it sorted by overall. And I wanted to see Ilya Kovalchuk here. He's down to an 80 now at 36 years old. Still making $7.5 million for 6 more years. So that contract would be looking pretty bad for the Devils. Honestly, I think like the $250K cap hit, whatever super small thing it is they got for terminating it, was honestly a pretty fair deal for them. Now look at the Rangers here. They signed Tyler Toffoli. He also got $10 million bucks, just like Braden Schenn. And then on Washington here, I wanted to show you guys, they actually signed Ryan Kessler, $8 million bucks, still an 86. I was looking all around. I was like, where is Tavares? Where's Tavares? Somehow our assistant GM got Tavares. Maybe we had a bunch more cap space, but I was like, you know what? Screw it. Last year, we'll keep Tavares there. And I mean, 19-20 season, Seattle's not in yet, but they're not far from being added to the NHL here. So we'll see in the final season, guys. Real life, of course, Tampa's first win of the 2 back-to-backs. Last place in real life was Detroit. Let's see what happens. And so at the trade deadline here, guys, of the final season, Alexander Steen going to the LA Kings, Anton Strawman to the Blackhawks, Jamie McBain to Dallas. He's still playing in the NHL, surprisingly. Jeff Petrie and Mike Weber go to Ottawa there. Ryan Clough to Edmonton. Again, another guy should be retired. Jacob Markstrom to Detroit, big goalie ad. Adam McQuaid to Philly. Rich Peverly and Eric Johnson to Vegas. Clark MacArthur there to Dallas. He could still have been playing if he never had the injury issues. Tyler Myers to the Sharks. Yuri Hudler to the Blackhawks. So again, really no giant trades, but I'll see who wins this cup. And so at the end of the season here, guys, the Kraken there finished 2nd last in our division. I kind of feel bad for Tavares, but I mean, he did leave the Islanders. He could have stayed with them. Blue Jackets are last. Blackhawks won the division again. They've just been an absolute juggernaut in this sim. Blues 2nd, Avalanche 3rd. Over in the Pacific, the Kings win the division. Real life at this point, like the Kings aren't that great. You got to think 19-20. I think they were one of 7 teams that didn't get to play in that play-in after the season got cut short. Coyotes 2nd, Ducks 3rd, Stars 4th, Oilers 5th. Over in the East, you got the Golden Knights winning the Atlantic. Maple Leafs, Lightning, Panthers get in. You got Capitals, Penguins, Devils, and Flyers there in the other division. And look at the entire league here, guys. The Washington Capitals take home the President's Trophy. A lot of teams, again, with 100-plus points. Pittsburgh there's the last one at 102. And last place, the Atlanta Thrashers. I think the Atlanta Thrashers honestly got last more than Seattle and Vegas combined. And we saw what their team was to start. Vancouver not looking good. 62 points. I'm pretty sure Vancouver was at least part of the play-in, but I don't think they made it very far. I'll take a look here now and see who wins the Art Ross Trophy. I'm going to take a wild stab and say Stamkos. Ovechkin there. 113 points. Crosby 110. These two basically just dominated the whole time, which honestly, if you think about it, Ovechkin has dominated. Like, he's going to pass Gretzky's goal record. Crosby, no injuries over the past decade. He's going to dominate as well because he already kind of did. Matt Duchene, his biggest year yet, 108 at 30, 90 overall. Malkin, McKinnon finally looking like himself, 92 overall, 104 points. Kopitar, Krejci at 97 at 33. Backstrom, a bunch of made-up guys, honestly. You can't really avoid it. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I had both the draft class quality and the prospect quality set to low to try and get, as much real players as possible. Marian Gaborik, 82 points, over a point per game there at 38 years old playing with the Devils. Not bad at all. Now, I do want to check McDavid again. 61 points. Like, 95 wrist shot, not perfect hands. Offensive awareness, I guess, could be a little bit better, but I feel like he should be something better than that. I don't know. I think Carolina ruined him. Everyone thought Edmonton did, but I think Carolina ruined him more than Edmonton. Goals here, Crosby with another Maurice Richard, even at 32. Very impressive. Defenseman Pietrangelo, probably going to win the Norris, 81 points there. Keith plus 44. That is just ridiculous. Actually, a bit of a down year for Karlsson, only 62 at 29. Goaltending-wise, Holtby, 44 wins, save percentage here. For a starter, Cam Ward, still kicking, 36 years old on the Blackhawks, .922 and a 2.29. Pretty solid. And quickly here, guys, I actually want to look at every single NHL team's scoring leaders just to see kind of like who's leading the team only, 2 years ago from real life. For instance, Perry here still playing really well in the Sims, 73 points with 40 goals. Looking at Atlanta, Brain Point, 61 there. Dougie Hamilton not doing too bad. Boston, you got Bergeron, Gensel, Tyler Seguin. What'd Seguin end up being? 88? Okay, I think Hall was like a 90. Blake Wheeler there for Buffalo. Calgary, Victor Headman, I mean, big signing. James Neal actually ends up in Calgary as well, kind of cool. Tyson Barrie as well, too. So, yeah, Nuge outscores Barkov McDavid. Like, what is going on there? I don't know. Chicago, Kane and Taves are still sick. Even Keith at 36 years old. I mean, Brent Seabrook is really... Is he LTI retired at this point? If not, he's like a bomb-pairing defenseman at most. Still an 84 overall guy. Duchesne's insane. O'Reilly. Colorado never trades either of them. I'm kind of surprised like there was never some big, superstar trades. Mostly just free agent signings. Rick Nash sticks with Columbus and plays, the next decade, where I'm pretty sure he retired like 17, 18, something like that. Dallas Stars, again, McKinnon there. Hurdle, Jamie Bancouturier. Really good team to build around. They just never really got it done. Zetterberg's still playing at this point, which is kind of impressive. 65 points. Taylor Hall, only 52. Wow. So kind of like McDavid. Not really seeming as good as I expected. Everly's still on the team. Same with Landeskog there. I believe Aaron Ekblad's on this team as well. He is. Ryan Ellis there. Kind of cool. Reuniting him and Hall, the two Spitfires. Derek Roy, 36, leading the Panthers in scoring is just so strange. Yanni Gord, 71 for 81 overall guy, pretty good. Jeff Carter there. LA Kings, Kopitar, Doughty, still leading that team. Mike Richards is there, hasn't been like terminated or whatever, cut from the team. Huberdeau, Spurgeon, JVR on Minnesota. Montreal, this Gordon guy was franchise. Marchand, of course. Gallagher, Subban. Of Hendrik Kane on Montreal Canadiens as well. Andre Kostitsyn's still there, okay. Nashville, pretty cool Forsberg ended up there. Shea Weber never got flipped for Subban. Scheifele, Roman Josi. It's like some of the young guys I thought, like their ratings are good, but they're just not performing in the sim. Jordan Staal there at 88 points to two-way dude on the Devils. That's nuts. Play with the Gabrick Parise. Maybe that was their first line. Pavelski was there as well. Islanders here. Spezza. I think Spezza, wasn't he part of like the Islanders trade for Chara, I think, to go to Ottawa? I might be like mixing up two trades there. Rangers here. Alex Semin, still a good player in the NHL. Tyler Johnson's been added to the team. Ottawa Centers. Kucherov 75 and 92. Shot could be a little bit better, I guess. Advantage at obviously. Karlsson. Pasternak only 60. He's another guy. I guess the shot power is just not there, eh? Like, only low 80s. I'm not sure why it never, like, grew by more, especially he's a sniper. Draisaitl, about a point per game. Giroux, pretty solid. They got Zajac. They got Hornqvist. The Phoenix Coyotes here. Kessel. Mark Stone. Voracek. Hansel's still decent. Shea Theodore. He's up to an 88, so at this point he is about that good. Penguins, of course, Crosby, Malkin, Letang's led them the whole way. Mikhail Bodker, 81, but he did decent. Justin Williams still going at 39. Pavel Datsyuk, 76 overall, joins the Penguins. He would never do such a thing. Couture there, captain of the Sharks probably, leading that team. They got Kadri Bufflin as well. Our team here, of course, Tavares got outscored by a created dude. Kyle Turris. St. Louis, Petrangelo's still there. Same with Tarasenko. They've added Skinner. He's an 86. Alex Hemsky's still going. Obviously, some of the players retired early. Other guys are still going way later than I thought they would be. Stamkos led the Lightning with 77. Leclavier, 39. 77 overall. Refuses to quit. The Maple Leafs here. Pollenville joined their team. Point per game. Nikolai Kulemin still going. Versteeg, Braden Shen, Phaneuf. Dion Phaneuf's still like a decent defenseman. Vancouver, Troy Brouwer. That's why they got last place. Troy Brouwer. No offense to him, but he shouldn't be leading your team in scoring. Milan Lucic on Vancouver. Wayne Simmons. They got a bunch of just like power forwards. Jeez. So the post-Sedin Canucks era without like Peterson, Besser, Hughes, Horvat doesn't look good. Vegas Golden Knights, though, actually put together a pretty solid team. And then Washington Capitals, Ovi Backstrom, Carlson, Mike Green never left. They signed Ryan Kessler. Derek Brassard here had a career year in his final season. So pretty cool just kind of looking at how the teams look, how they performed, whatever. So we'll sim here, guys. The final playoff. Again, it was the Lightning in real life. Who's it going to be? And look at this, guys. The 2020 draft results are in. Montreal picking first overall, so they be getting Lafreniere. Real life, they beat Pittsburgh, I believe it was, in the play-in. So they actually lost, their chance at him. Calgary there picking second, probably taking Byfield. It's looking like the real first overall pick might have been Lucas Raymond, though. Atlanta there third. Anaheim Ducks win the final Stanley Cup. They're second of this sim. Honestly, though, it's not that unrealistic if Getzlaf and Perry never kind of slowed down. Getzlaf actually looking really good this season, so if he kind of kept his pace up all the way till now, Perry never had a drop off. They didn't trade Ryan, and he kept playing well. Who knows what would have happened. So they beat the Coyotes in 7, swept the Kings. Surprised the Kings are there, honestly. Beat the Blues in 7, then the Capitals in 5s. And Capitals here beat the Panthers in 6, swept the Devils, Leafs in 5. So, good on the Leafs. They almost made it back in. Swept the Tampa Bay Lightning there, who actually won the Cup in real life. First individual here, Ovechkin, Art Ross, and the Hart. Good on him. Duncan Keith there gets to James Norris. Matt Duchene, Lady Bing. Dexter here on the Sharks get the Calder. Corey Perry, Conn Smythe. Cam Ward, Vezina. Wow. He also got the William Jennings Trophy. Shared it with Corey Crawford. Lucas Spiezla on Montreal got the Bill Masterton. Devils coach Jack Adams. Brain Point, Selke. Ovechkin also got the Ted Lindsay. And then Crosby there, of course, with the Maurice Richard. So that is it, guys. What a final year. This was a long one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you had some popcorn or whatever to watch this, because obviously it went quite a while. I guess we'll see who retires here in the final year. I'll take a screenshot for you guys. I'm 7 hours into this recording, so definitely have to call it here at 10 seasons. I'm not going to be doing 11, 12, whatever. Zetterberg calls it quits. He retires a lot around this point for real. But he's still in the books in terms of LTIR, so cool to see he actually almost had a point per game with the Wings. Jason Spezza there on the Islanders. LeCavier finally retires, and he stayed the whole time with the Lightning. Marian Hossa stays with the Chicago Blackhawks there. Mike Ribeiro on Edmonton. Alex Steen. Brad Richards, a Senator. Pavel Datsyuk, a Pittsburgh Penguin. I don't like looking at that. Miku Koivu stayed with the Minnesota Wild. Mike Camilleri there joined the Pittsburgh Penguins. Mr. Game 7 also on the Penguins. Got Gomes with the Flames. Ryan Whitney here on the Carolina Hurricanes. Pretty cool to see that. Brad Boyce. Tobias Enstrom. A lot of pretty good names. Got Goligoski retiring pretty early at 34. I didn't think guys retired before 35. Down to 75 though. Something must have messed up his growth. You guys can see there tons and tons of names. We'll take a look at goalies. Nicholas Backstrom went to 42. Mike Smith, again, he's still going. Al Montoya, Carter Hutton, Jonas Gustafsson, Mike Brodeur. That's not Martin Brodeur, obviously. Martin Brodeur already retired. But like I said, guys, that is it. Hopefully enjoyed this, decade resim. I thought it was pretty cool. Obviously, some stuff was pretty true to real life. Other stuff, not so much, like the Ducks taking home 2 Stanley Cups. Obviously, we could only add so many prospects. I wish we could have added prospects for every draft class. Had Austin Matthews, had Dahlin, etc., etc. But kind of limited here to what EA allows us to do with the game. Anyways, guys, like I said, I'm 7 hours in. I'm going to call it there. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a thumbs up. If you guys have not subscribed yet, hit the sub button down below. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.